At this time, I invite you to stand and remain standing as we honor our country and our God with an invocation led by Reverend James Gray, member of the Rockbridge High School football teams that we are honoring today, and then a Pledge of Allegiance led by Jake Jacobson, retired United States Marine Corps and one of today's inductees, and then a playing of our national anthem.
What a privilege and an honor to be here today, but most of all, what a privilege and an honor to come out and honor these men and women, young kids, the ones that came before us and the ones that came after us. It was God's grace and his mercy that allowed us to be here. Let us pray. Gracious and eternally Heavenly Father, Lord, in the mighty name of Jesus, we come thanking you for a gorgeous day. Thanking you, Lord, for what you have done and bringing us together, Lord, as athletes. But most of all, Lord, just watching over us throughout our career as we go forward, Lord. And then, Lord, I want to lift up those that could not make it, the ones that went on before us and the ones that's coming after us. As I look around the room, there's so many great athletes and coaches that's here today. So bless them. Bless the food. Bless the folks that is in charge of doing this. And thank you, Lord, especially for all of Taylor's hard work that he have given in this. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please stand and face the flag and put your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and for the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated. I encourage you guys, obviously some of you are eating, continue to eat, enjoy the wonderful meal. If you are done, you feel free to get comfortable, turn your chairs to face the stage. But without further ado, going to turn the mic over to Mr. Dan Nelson just for some quick comments from the Board of Directors from the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Taylor. On behalf of the Board of Directors at the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, it is my privilege to welcome you here today. Without your support and the generosity of our donors and corporate sponsors, the fulfillment of our mission would not be possible. Our staff has worked very hard today to prepare this program for your enjoyment. Please relax, join us as we recognize these special athletes and great moments in Missouri sports history. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dan, for getting us started today, for your leadership on the governing board. Thank you also to Reverend Gray and Jake for helping get us started. We had a national anthem singer. She was going to be here today, and she contacted us this morning and lost her voice. So maybe she yelled too much at the football game yesterday, I don't know. But I was asking the staff if I could just pick someone random out of the crowd to sing the anthem, and they said that would be a bad idea. So on behalf of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame and the governing board, allow me to welcome you to today's Columbia Enshrinement ceremonies presented by Shelter Insurance. I hope that you are ready for an outstanding afternoon of recognizing some individuals and teams that have made quite an impact on Missouri sports history. Did anyone get to attend the homecoming football game yesterday? Yeah, go Tigers. I saw a stat. I didn't get to attend. I was watching it on TV, and they showed a stat early in the fourth quarter that said Auburn is 152-1 when leading by at least 14 points. And I can't remember if it was the last 30 years or since a certain time, but they're now 152-2. So, exactly. And I hope that no one has to leave the enshrinement today to go to the hospital for an MRI. But if you do, I do expect you back before the end of the ceremonies. That is the precedent that has been set. So, in all seriousness, before we get started, I do want to recognize or acknowledge some great news that came out this week. Coach Dickie Nutt, assistant basketball coach at Mizzou, announced that he was cancer-free this week. So I just want to thank God for that. It's incredible. The Missouri Sports Hall of Fame preserves and relives historic moments and accomplishments of Missouri's greatest athletes, coaches, and teams, and inspires future great generations to achieve greatness. Let's take a look at a short video chronicling the history of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame.
It was the early 1990s. John Q. Hammonds was given a task: find a new home for sports in Missouri. You see, the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame has seen quite a few homes. In 1951, it was located on the state fairgrounds in Sedalia. The first ever inductee, legendary MLB pitcher and Carthage native Carl Hummel. In 1961, the original inductee plaques were moved to the state capitol, where they would stay for the next 3 decades. Enter John Q. Hammonds, who was asked by a group led by Norm Stewart, Dave Porter, and Gary Filbert to find a new home for a Missouri Basketball Hall of Fame. As fate would have it, his hometown of Springfield was selected, and the site of a new all-sports Missouri Sports Hall of Fame building was opened in July 1994. The first leader of the Hall of Fame was Med Park, who guided the Hall through year 1. In 1995, Gerald Andrews was named Executive Director, a role he would hold for the next 27 years. In 1999, none other than Stan Musial was named the first Missouri sports legend. Now, the Legends Walkway features nearly 40 bronze busts of Missouri sports legends, plus life-size statues of legendary notables like Jackie Stiles, Payne Stewart, Norm Stewart, Bill Verdon's legendary World Series catch, and The Boy and the Man, featuring Stan Musial signing an autograph for a young boy. In 2001, the Hall of Fame hosted its first sports enthusiast luncheon, and for the next 20 years, luncheons focusing on outdoor sports, women's sports, and sports in the winter, spring, and fall were all held. That same year, 2001, the first Stan Musial Hall of Fame Championship was held. This year will mark the 24th year for their premier golf tournament. And in 2011, the Hall of Fame hosted its first enshrinement away from Springfield, that year in St. Joseph. This year, the Hall of Fame will honor inductees in Springfield, Cape Girardeau, Kansas City, Columbia, and St. Louis. The Hall of Fame will induct approximately 65 new members this year. This year also marks the 30th anniversary of the Hall of Fame managing the PGA Tour's Price Cutter Charity Championship presented by Dr. Pepper, which, to date, has given away more than $20 million to local Ozarks charities. So as we embark on the 30-year anniversary on the current iteration of the Hall of Fame, it is important to remember the past. Inside the Hall of Fame, the original inductee plaques are still there. Only now they are surrounded by more than 4,000 pieces of memorabilia and exhibits that showcase the greatest the state has to offer. And while we remember the past, we look to the future. The current Hall of Fame undergoing a revitalization to make it a sports fans' playground full of interactive displays, simulators, and state-of-the-art technology. With this, the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame will continue to tell the stories that need to be told. The story of sports in Missouri.
Thank you. The excitement for today's enshrinement has been building from the moment that this outstanding class was announced back on September the 11th. We are delighted with the turnout today of nearly 700 people and appreciate everyone's attendance. It is my pleasure today to recognize Shelter Insurance as the presenting sponsor of today's Columbia enshrinement ceremonies. Shelter Insurance has been heavily involved in Columbia community and beyond since the company's inception, and we are delighted to have Shelter Insurance as the presenting sponsor of today's enshrinement ceremonies. They are represented today by Anna Hargis, and I'm going to have our chairman of the board, Dan Nelson. They have several other reps, but Anna, if you'd stand, we got a small token of our appreciation. Special thanks to Chase as well for signing this Mizzou helmet for you today. But thank you for your support, and how about a round of applause for Shelter Insurance? Always got to get the pictures. Thank you, Ann. We appreciate you. We have a number of table sponsors. You can see a list of everyone that sponsored a table on page 4 of your program. Special thank you to all of our advertisers as well. Please take those programs with you when you leave today, but appreciate everyone that participated. One of the highlights of our events is the recognition and current members of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame who are in attendance. I know we have several here today, and as I call your names of the ones that I'm aware of, please stand and be recognized. I know we have, you saw it on the video, the Missouri sports legends, the elite of the elite. We have 3 legends in attendance today. Longtime CEO Gerald Andrews led the Hall of Fame for 27 years. Is here along with, we have former Mizzou football coach Gary Pinkel and former Mizzou basketball coach Norm Stewart in attendance. How about a round of applause for our legends? We have several other inductees, Dr. Mark Adams, Larry Anderson, Bob Burchard, Derek Chivas, Dave Gill, John Henage, Tom Henke, Mike Kelly, Ben Loeb, Tom Rackers, Brian Smith, Rod Smith, Jack Watkins, members of the Helias Catholic Golf Program, members of the Jefferson City Football Program, members of the Jefferson City Track and Field Program, members of the Lincoln University Track Program, members of the Rockbridge Tennis Programs, members of the 1984 to 1989 West Strand Softball era. Do we have any other Hall of Fame inductees in attendance? I tried to catch every name I could, but how about a round of applause for our inductees? At this time, I would also like to recognize a special group in attendance today, and that is veterans of the United States Armed Forces. Our freedom is certainly not free, and we owe a debt of gratitude to every man and woman who has served in the United States Armed Forces. If we have any veterans or active duty military personnel, would you please stand at this time, and thank you so much for your service. I would also like to, at this time, if you're a member of the Elite 11, you can go ahead and line up to my right, stage left, I believe it is. But we do have a pretty cool Missouri Sports Hall of Fame raffle going on currently. This is the second year we've done this. It was such a success last year. But we have a special piece of sports memorabilia that we are going to raffle off live on December the 4th. It is a Kansas City Chiefs helmet signed by Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Taylor Swift's boyfriend. You can certainly buy tickets to that. You can scan the QR code. There's a little card at your table. You can scan and buy chances on that. We're only going to sell 1,000. I'll tell you this, as of this morning, only 40 chances have been sold, so the odds are really good. But we are going to raffle that off live on December the 4th at our Deck the Hall Christmas movie trivia night. And so please take advantage of that on this great piece of sports memorabilia. We also would like to invite you to follow the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame on all of the social media channels, Twitter or X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is. I'm sure that we're on it, so please follow the Hall of Fame. If you listen to podcasts, we are currently in Season 3 of Where the Game Lives On, which is the official podcast of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. So please, you can download that on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you get your podcast app. And then I also want to point out the Hall of Fame gift shop, which is underneath the Hall of Fame tent over here. Lots of great items, Hall of Fame items. We got Under Armour, FootJoy polos. There's tumblers and hats and lots of different things, sweatshirts that you can buy today before you leave. And then lastly, I'd like to encourage everyone to continue bidding on all the great silent auction items. You had a chance to preview that during the reception. You can also scan the QR code at your table. You can bid on your phone even as you're sitting there today. We're going to close that auction here towards the end of the afternoon, but lots of great sports memorabilia that you can take home today. Continue to bid on that. Today we are going to induct 11 deserving individuals, a pair of undefeated state championship teams, and 3 remarkable program eras. We will bestow the President's Award on a longtime friend of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame and recognize 2 outstanding charities that are doing excellent work. And we are also going to recognize the 10th Elite 11 class. You'll find a nice bio page in your program for each honoree beginning on page 20. I'll share some brief comments by way of an introduction of each honoree, and then we'll watch a short video chronicling the Hall of Fame career of that particular inductee. Following each video introduction, the inductee will speak for about 3 minutes and be presented with a plaque recognizing their induction into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. The Elite 11 program recognizes individuals who have made significant contributions in the sport of football at the high school, collegiate, and/or professional level. To date, this is the 10th class, which means that these men today are joining a class that totals 110 individuals in the history of the state of Missouri who have been honored with the Elite 11 Award. So at this time, we're going to acknowledge each of these 11 men. They will proceed across the stage, receive as I chronicle their career. We're going to start with Steve Bolkin, Jefferson City High School and Lincoln University. Steve Bolkin played football and baseball and wrestled at Jefferson City High School before graduating in 1986. In football, he was an all-district kicker in 1984 and 1985. At Lincoln, Bolkin was the quarterback from 1986 to 1989, breaking nearly every program passing record. That included 4,709 passing yards, and he set records with 372 completions and 904 attempts. In 1988, he set a single-season standards with 144 completions for 1,939 yards as part of a total offense of 2,194 yards. He earned MIAA Offensive Player of the Year honors that season and was a 2-time Player of the Week. He also was an outstanding punter, and his 49.9-yard average and his 76-yard punt in 1987 set school records. He was also a 3-time All-MIAA selection and is currently Vice President of Sales and Business Development at Windland Quarries. Steve Bolkin. Brad Cavanaugh, Marceline High School, Central Methodist University. Brad Cavanaugh played his final 2 years at Marceline High School after transferring from Nevada High School in Southwest Missouri. Cavanaugh earned all-state honors his junior and senior seasons and also was named first-team all-conference and all-district both years, in addition to earning recognition on the KMZU Dream Team and KRES All-Star Team. He also was the District Player of the Year in 1989. In his final 2 seasons, he threw for 2,666 yards and threw for 49 touchdowns. He led the team to the state semifinals as a junior and then guided Marceline to a state runner-up finish in Class 1 in 1989. At Central Methodist, he was a 2-sport letterman and played football 3 seasons. Cavanaugh is now a retired Missouri educator and coach who coached in the Chillicothe School District, including with the varsity football team in recent years. Brad Cavanaugh. Brian Clayton, Norborn High School, Missouri Valley College. Brian Clayton graduated from Norborn High School in 1985. As a junior, he helped the football team to a Class 1 state runner-up finish and 11-1 record in 1983. A three-sport athlete, he also played basketball and competed in track and field. Clayton was an all-state running back in 1983 and 1984 and was all-district and all-conference both years. He was also named all-conference as a place kicker and punter as a sophomore. His 62-yard punt in the 1983 state championship game set a then record and is still 17th best in all classes in Missouri history. At Missouri Valley, he was a 3-year letterman in football and track and field. He earned NAIA All-American honors as a running back in 1989, when he also was named the Heart of America Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Year. Clayton led the nation as a senior by scoring 31 touchdowns. These days, Clayton is the homeschool coordinator for Columbia Public Schools. Brian Clayton. Chuck Cole, Jefferson City High School, University of Missouri. A 1988 graduate of Jefferson City High School, Chuck Cole was a three-sport letterman for the Jays in football, baseball, and track and field. In football, he was a two-time first-team All-State selection in 1986 as a linebacker and in 1987 as a center and linebacker. He was All-District both years in both positions. As a junior, Cole had 182 tackles, 9 sacks, and an interception. The next season, he made 125 tackles, including 11 sacks, and had 2 interceptions and blocked 3 kicks. That helped propel the Jays to the state semifinals in both seasons. At Mizzou, Cole was the walk-on of the year in 1989, earned a scholarship every year after, and was a 4-year letterman before graduating in 1993. These days, he is the national business manager for Thermo Fisher Scientific. Chuck Cole. Derek Duncan, Montgomery County High School, Westminster College. A 2003 graduate of Montgomery County High School, Derek Duncan was a 2-time All-State quarterback in addition to earning All-District, All-Area, and All-Conference honors for 3 seasons. He became Missouri's all-time leader in passing yards with 7,591 yards, breaking a nearly 20-year record, and threw 84 touchdown passes and completed a stat record 550 passes. Overall, he ranks in the top 7 of 14 statistical school categories. Duncan helped Team Missouri win the Down Under Bowl, throwing 4 touchdown passes, 3 against Idaho, Wyoming, and the game winner to beat Texas 6-0. He finished 34th all-time in national passing yardage. Upon graduation, he held 8 state records and was top 10 in 20 other game, season, or career state records. Duncan went on to play at Westminster College, earning 2 varsity letters, and was a member of a conference championship team. He is currently a partner and senior vice president of employee benefits at USI in St. Louis. Derek Duncan. Ian Gilworth, Putnam County High School, Morningside College. A 2004 graduate of Putnam County High School, Ian Gilworth earned 16 varsity letters across 4 sports: football, basketball, baseball, and track and field. In football, he was a 2-time All-State selection, in addition to earning 3 All-Tri-Rivers Conference honors, including MVP honors in 2002 and 2003. He also was first-team All-District his final 2 seasons, in addition to earning Daily Express All-Area honors twice, including its Player of the Year honor in 2002. Overall, he threw for 6,793 career yards with 61 touchdowns over 40 games. At Morningside College in Iowa, Gilworth was a 2-time NAIA All-American quarterback and 2-time Great Plains Athletic Conference selection. He threw for 7,200 yards with 62 touchdowns, including an NAIA playoff record 7 touchdowns in a 2008 victory. He is now general manager, head of sales and marketing at Vernon Graphics in Unionville. Ian Gilworth. Ethan Harris, South Shelby High School, Missouri Western State University. Ethan Harris was a 3-sport athlete at South Shelby, competing in football, basketball, and track and field, and inspiring many around him. Having grown up in foster homes through most of his youth, he found success in a lot of aspects in his life, and that included football, as he was a 2-time All-State honoree in 2006 and 2007, and also an all-conference running back. In 2006, he and teammate Aaron O'Loughlin established a state rushing record by teammates, combining for 3,666 yards. Overall, he scored 61 touchdowns in his final 2 seasons, rushing for 4,190 yards. The 2006 team won the Class 1 state championship, beating Marionville 34-27 in overtime and finishing 13-1. The 2007 team reached the state quarterfinals. Harris went on to Missouri Western on a full-ride scholarship as a running back and defensive back. He later graduated with a degree in electronics and mechanical engineering. Ethan Harris. Greg Hill, Hickman High School, University of Missouri. A 1969 graduate of Hickman High School, Greg Hill was a 3-sport athlete in football, basketball, and baseball, and earned all-conference honors in both football and baseball. A walk-on at Mizzou in 1969, Hill started on the freshman team before playing 3 varsity seasons for the Tigers. He later earned all Big 8 conference honors as a kicker in 1972 and 1973. As a junior, Hill kicked 13 field goals, including game winners to beat Oregon 24-22, Colorado 20-17, and Iowa State 6-5, with the first 2 coming in the final 6 seconds. The next season, he set the Big 8 career field goal record with 31 and tied the Missouri season record with 13, including 2 in a 13-12 upset of number 2 ranked Nebraska. Hill received the 1970 Outstanding Red Shirt Award and kicked a then record 53-yard field goal in 1971. He now runs a State Farm insurance agency here in Columbia. Greg Hill. Aaron O'Laughlin, South Shelby High School, Central Methodist University. A 2007 graduate of South Shelby High School, Aaron O'Laughlin was a 3-sport athlete who earned first-team All-State honors as a defensive back and running back in both his junior and senior seasons. He also was first-team All-Clarence Canyon Conference honoree at both positions, as well as a kick returner. As a defensive back, he combined for 152 tackles, 8 interceptions, and 6 fumble recoveries in his final 2 seasons. Offensively, he had more than 30 touchdowns, with his senior season seeing O'Laughlin combine with Ethan Harris for 3,666 rushing yards, a single-season record for teammates. The 2005 team reached the state semifinals, and the 2006 team won state, finishing 13-1. At Central Methodist, he earned the Football Workman's Scholarship through West End High School in each of his final 2 seasons, as he was a player scout for Central Methodist. He later earned KRES Coach of the Year honors in 2018 at West End. O'Laughlin is now the principal at Marion County R2 High School. Aaron O'Laughlin. Chase Patton, Rockbridge High School, University of Missouri. A 2004 graduate of Rockbridge High School, Chase Patton was a 3-sport standout for the Bruins, but especially excelled on the gridiron as he rewrote the record books. Patton threw for a school record 2,670 yards as a junior with 23 touchdowns, and followed that up with 2,630 yards and 30 touchdowns as a senior, which earned him All-American honors by both EA Sports and Prep Star. He was also named the Gatorade National Missouri Player of the Year that season. One of the most highly coveted quarterback prospects in the nation, Patton ranked as the number 4 quarterback and the number 69 overall prospect at any position nationally by Rivals.com. Patton stayed at home for college to play for Mizzou. A standout student, Patton was awarded the 2008 Missouri Director of Athletics Leadership Award and the Don Farrow Most Inspirational Player Award, and went on to dental school after graduation and currently has his own practice here in Columbia. Chase Patton. Saloom Bubba Stutzer, William Chrisman High School, Central Methodist University. A 2001 graduate of William Chrisman High School in Independence, Saloom Bubba Stutzer enjoyed a standout career for the Bears. At Central Methodist University, he was a 4-year letter winner and 3-year starter in the secondary for the Eagles. Stutzer set a career record for tackles with 407 and was a 2-time NAIA All-American, earning first-team All-American honors by the NAIA, NAIAfootball.net, and Don Hanson's Football Gazette as a senior. Stutzer also earned unanimous first-team All-Heart of America Athletic Conference honors all 4 seasons, with his senior season seeing him ranked 17th nationally in interceptions per game while leading the Eagles defense with 100 tackles. He is now the Director of Facilities and Operations for the Francis Howell School District. Saloom Bubba Stutzer. She takes this photo. How about one last round of applause for our Elite 11 honorees? Heading into 2024, the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame wanted to give back, is probably the easiest way to put it. We've been blessed over the years with lots of great events and lots of success, and we wanted to find a way to give back to those that are helping sports in the state of Missouri. And so we created a charitable initiative whereby we have a statewide charity that will benefit from our 5 main events. That's 4 enshrinement ceremonies and our first ever Champions Gala that was held back in April. And so Special Olympics of Missouri was selected as the statewide charity, and then at each of those 5 events locally, we would select a local sports-based charity that would benefit from that particular event. I'm excited today to recognize the Diamond Council of Columbia as our local charity. They are a nonprofit organization of volunteers established in 1963 and run by a board of directors and executive committee. They provide area youth an opportunity to play baseball and softball, emphasizing fun, sportsmanship, and skill development. Diamond Council partners with the City of Columbia Parks and Recreation Department, with Diamond Council registering and organizing its own leagues, while the Parks and Recreation Department prepares the fields for play each day. Diamond Council is a volunteer organization, as all coaches are volunteers. Teams are formed based on the schools they're attending, volunteer coaches, and team sponsors. Teams are not drafted on ability or skills, and best of all kids get to play. Additionally, Diamond Council has a scholarship fund that helps cover entry fees for kids from low-income families. I'm excited today to recognize Paul Blythe with the Diamond Council of Columbia is over here with our Executive Vice President, Carrie Norris, and they're going to unveil the check that we are presenting today to the Diamond Council of Columbia in the amount of $5,750 to the Diamond Council of Columbia. Thank you, Paul, and I encourage everyone present, especially if you're in Columbia, to follow the Diamond Council of Columbia and all the great work they're doing, and certainly consider supporting this great charitable organization. We are pleased to partner with Special Olympics Missouri as our statewide charity partner for 2024. Special Olympics Missouri was actually inducted into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame as a group in 2013 and continues to do Hall of Fame work here in the Show Me State. Let's learn more about Special Olympics Missouri.
I am very honored to be inducted in the Missouri Special Olympics Hall of Fame. I have worked hard, I trained hard, and made lifelong friends. Now I am excited to inspire the next generation of athletes, and now I'm a Hall of Famer. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Coach Scott, Bill, and Stan. I'm gonna do this till I die, and I'll keep on going. And thank you for putting me in the Hall of Fame. Thank you.
I've been thinking a lot lately about the journey that I've had. I have to say that it's one of the best things that ever happened. Had a great opportunity to work with some great people and coach some great athletes. For that, I'm very thankful, and I hope that I can continue on this journey a little longer. Thank you.
I prepared a short speech. I want to thank Special Olympics Missouri for giving me the opportunity to volunteer. And I want to thank the athletes for letting me be a part of their life. They're the greatest people in the world. And I also want to thank my mom, who's watching from above, that she didn't let me pursue my first career choice. Because I wouldn't have been able to do what I've been able to do in my life. Thank you so much.
Certainly, congratulations to these Hall of Fame inductees, and we have a couple of other Special Olympics Missouri athletes that we would like to recognize today. The first is Patrick Baker. Patrick is the 2023 Central Area Athlete of the Year. Patrick has been competing with Special Olympics for the past 13 years on the Jefferson City Stars team and represented Team Missouri at the 2022 USA Games. He has played softball, basketball, bowling, flag football, track and field, and volleyball. Patrick is a well-rounded athlete who has a great mindset and is a pleasure to work with throughout the year. Patrick is always willing to volunteer his time and participate in all SOMO events. Central Area Program Director Tim Schuster selected Patrick to be recognized because he is a great example of a well-rounded Special Olympics athlete. How about a round of applause for Patrick Baker? We also want to recognize Shauna West. Shauna is an outstanding athlete from Cuba, Missouri. She has competed with Special Olympics for 21 years and is currently part of the Crawford County Adults team. She represented Team Missouri in the 2022 USA Games. Shauna competes in bowling and track and field. Shauna has a great attitude and is an amazing competitor. She is extremely dedicated to Special Olympics. Special Olympics Training Director Susan Schaefer recommended Shauna to be recognized and said, "I would take Shauna to compete anywhere. She is an incredible addition to any team." How about a round of applause for Shauna West? Once again, I would encourage you all to continue supporting Special Olympics Missouri, headquartered just south of us in Jefferson City, doing outstanding work all over the state of Missouri. In 2013, the Hall of Fame Governing Board created the President's Award to honor individuals who have stepped forward with their corporate and personal support, counsel, expertise, and yes, finances. Today, we honor a longtime friend of the Hall of Fame who many of you may remember from his 14-year career in Major League Baseball. Inducted into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame in 2000, Tom Henke has been a major supporter of the Hall of Fame over the years. Let's take a look at the video.
And it's number 300 for Tom Henke. His career, a long and prosperous one, unmatched by many. A Blair Oaks High School graduate, he racked up 311 career saves, a World Series championship, and spent 14 years in Major League Baseball.
Well, I arrived at the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame in 1995, the same year that Tom Henke stepped away from Major League Baseball. And Tom stepped away on top. He was the Roll-H Relief Pitcher of the Year for the Cardinals that year.
The President's Award is given to folks who not just play the game, but are staunch advocates for sports, and for those who champion the mission of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. You see, it was nearly 30 years ago when Tom Henke first became involved with the Hall. And who better to tell the story than the man who witnessed his contributions firsthand?
I've often said I made many acquaintances through the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, but I made a few friends. And Tom is definitely one of those good friends. Anytime we did anything, and I wanted Tom to attend or him consider to attend, he was right here. He never let us down. He played golf tournament after golf tournament. We've had a lot of mutual fun about joking about our golf games, but he became a much better golfer. But more importantly is just him being a great person. People love to play with Tom Henke. And I've heard from some of those folks as they knew Tom was being honored here today for his commitment to the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame and to sports in this entire state of Missouri, and telling me what a great time they had playing with Tom Henke in one of our events. And then we got involved in sporting clays, and Tom has been supportive of that. And it didn't matter what we were doing. Tom was going to be there. He was going to help in any way that he possibly could.
Away from the Hall of Fame, the Tom Henke Charity Classic Golf Tournament has raised more than $1.3 million for the Special Learning Center, so it can continue programs designed to support kids with special needs. That tournament just recently celebrated 30 years and was organized by a man known both for his career on the field and his charity off the field.
We inducted Tom into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame in the year 2000. A few years after that, my wife and I made a trip to St. Queens, Ontario to see Tom inducted into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. And here we are today as he receives the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame President's Award, and I can't think of a more worthy candidate than Tom Henke to receive this award. Congratulations, Tom, and wish the best to you and your family at this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage a longtime supporter of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame and advocate for sports across Missouri, Mr. Tom Henke, the recipient of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame President's Award.
At this time, former Executive Director and Missouri sports legend Gerald Andrews is placing the commemorative Missouri Sports Hall of Fame Letterman's jacket on Tom. So at this time, Tom Henke.
Okay, they said I only get 3 minutes, so I'm going to be quick. I want to congratulate all the inductees this year. Congratulations, you're entering a great institution with the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. They put me in 2000, I think for my golf. I don't think it was for baseball, but I proved them wrong on that, hitting them in the swimming pools and a few other things. So, you know, I can't think of an organization that has done more for Missouri sports, not only teams, coaches, players, everything under the sun that has to do with sports than the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. And I can't tell you how honored I am to be a part of it, get this jacket. I'm going to be, my kids will probably take it away from me pretty quick, but it's something that, you know, as a kid coming up in mid-Missouri, growing up in a family of 11 kids, and you know, I never thought would have ever been possible to even do anything that I did. Sometimes I have to pinch myself and look back and say, you know, I really did that. But it's something that I'll never forget. Gerald, I met Gerald a long time ago and started playing, I think, in 1995 in the tournaments and doing a little speaking for him, which they're probably going to have to get me off the stage here in a minute. But I'm not very good at it, but I try to speak from my heart. I want to thank my family that's come up today, my wife Kathy, my daughter Amanda, Ryan, Kim, Willie, Heather. Thank you all for coming up and support me. Thank everybody that's here for coming and supporting the Hall of Fame. It's, like I said, it's a dream come true to be up here with all these great athletes through the ages. They're probably way too young to remember me, but that's all right. It's been a great ride, and I've made great friends, and I love it. I love it all. So thank you all very much, Byron.
Tom mentioned his family that's come. If you're here for Tom, please stand. Thank you for being here today. Missouri Sports Hall of Fame President's Award presented to Tom Henke, October 20th, 2024, for his outstanding contributions, service, and loyalty to the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. Our first inductee is one of the greatest distance runners, not only in Mizzou history, but in Missouri history. Let's take a look at the video for Steve Stonecipher Fisher.
If you were around a track in the mid-Missouri region in the 70s, there was a good chance you saw him running and winning.
Dedicated, competitive runner. There was no question about that. His life was running.
Steve Stonecipher Fisher would become one of the great distance runners the state has ever produced. It started at Smith Cotton High School in Sedalia when he set a then state record in the 2-mile, 9 minutes, 16.4 seconds, on his way to capturing a state championship.
Everybody was ecstatic when Steve brought home a state championship in 1975. It was a big thing around here, Sedalia.
His success continued at the University of Missouri. Stone Cipher Fisher set a school record in the 10,000 meters. He still holds the indoor 3-mile record and was part of the 1979 Big 8 Conference championship team.
I saw the work that he put in along with the other distance runners and cross-country runners, and I'd even on a couple of occasions as a thrower attempted to go out and run forklifts with them. Much to my dismay,
I first met Steve in 1979 when at the laboratory at MU we tested the long distance runners on the track team. And Steve had an elite VO2 max of 78 mLs per kg per minute. And after that, I was never surprised at any of Steve's performances.
That's very technical talk to say that he was an elite runner, and he did it on a national stage. Stone Cipher Fisher would eventually compete in 31 marathons, including winning the St. Louis Marathon twice. He would participate in the 1984 U.S. Olympic trials, and maybe most impressively, he finished 37th in the 1983 Boston Marathon, then qualified for the event again 36 years later.
I know that his dedication to running had preceded even when I met him as a freshman in high school in Sedalia Smith Cotton. We were on the track team together, and it continued well after his Mizzou days.
Still very much involved in running, he is the owner of Triathletics, a very popular store for runners, bikers, and swimmers. And for 30 years, he's been race director for the Columbia Track Club.
Steve, congratulations on your induction into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. You are one of the most deserving candidates that they could have, and it's been a pleasure to know you and gotten to know you more and more over the last 45 years.
It's a well-deserved honor, and as a former teammate of yours, a double Tiger, both at Sedalia Smith Cotton Tigers and the University of Missouri Tigers, I congratulate you.
It's certainly, he deserves it, and in my opinion, it's been a long time coming, but it has come, and I'm so excited and happy.
One of the best long-distance runners the state has ever produced. Please welcome Missouri Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Steve Stone Cipher Fisher.
Thank you. I hardly recognize that young guy you had up there. Who is that? Yes. Well, good afternoon. I'd like to begin by thanking the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame for inducting me. I never expected this honor. I never recognized that I was as good as apparently they think I am. So anyway, when I told my wife about the call from the Sports Hall of Fame, mostly what I said to her was, I'm not going to turn it down. You know, it's a nice honor. I'm proud to be inducted for my accomplishments in running. I'm delighted that several of the people who have helped me along the way are here today. I have 2 tables worth of folks out there who feel I must be worthy, and I'm happy about that. I'd like to thank them all for being here and the contributions they've made for me. My coaches, my families, my teammates have all given me guidance and encouragement over the years. No one achieves very much if they don't have a lot of good people behind them. I think that's true of all of us as candidates. During my running career, I say I had 7 coaches who worked with me to make me better. Often, that included helping me find affordable running shoes, driving me to events. In the case of the University of Missouri, my coaches, Coach Lingle and Teal, they made sure that I was able to get a full scholarship so that I could run to become as good as I tried to be, and that often included 100 miles a week. So I'm happy I had those people behind me. I really appreciate all my coaches' efforts as coaches, but I really have come to appreciate that they had life lessons to teach me as well, on how to, be a better person. Fair play in sports is a big deal. We don't always see that. In my sport, I will tell you, if winning was the only accomplishment that was recognized, most of us as distance runners would be pretty poor athletes. It's hard to win all the time as a distance runner. You just always try to do the best you can. And as a distance runner, we celebrate our personal bests, and that's how we measure our success. When I graduated from college, I took a job in sporting goods, and shortly after that, I married coach number 7. Now, mind you, she's not really a coach, but I did ask her if I could take 3 years and see how good I could be, and she said yes. So taking advantage of that, I worked in sporting goods. I got better. I became a 2:16 marathoner, which is about 2 hours, or about 5 minutes and 12 seconds a mile. So I became fairly good, about 100th in the world at one point. And I enjoyed that. She allowed me to do that. She took care, of the family businesses, taking care of bills and all the rest, and allowed me to see how good I could become, and I thank her for that. Work, family, and balance are sometimes difficult to achieve. She made it easier. I'd like to close by sharing something with you. My college coach, Coach Teal, Bob Teal, who turned 101 in September, sent me a handwritten note of congratulations. He said, "Dear Steve, I just learned by way of Dean Fogarty that you are to be inducted into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. You truly deserve the honor. I send along congratulations. Please remember me to lovely Kim, my wife. With warm regards, Coach Teal." And then he gave a PS here. He says, "I apologize for the sloppy penmanship and poor spelling. I can't see well enough to cross my T's or dot my I's anymore." So anyway, from this, I want everyone here to remember to build others up around you, encourage other people, and then enjoy their accomplishments. And you can, because like Coach Teal was for me, you are a part of that accomplishment. I'm fortunate because I made a living and a life and had a lot of fun just doing what I like to do. I encourage each of you to find that passion. Then again, thank you again for this honor. I'm truly humbled. Thank you. Thank you.
As Steve mentioned, he has a couple of tables of family and friends. If you're here, please stand. Thank you for being here. Steve, come back. You're not done yet. Come back. Steve Stonecipher Fisher, enshrined as a member October 20th, 2024, in recognition of your outstanding contributions in the sport of long-distance running. Our next inductee is one of the finest softball coaches in state history. Her teams never had a losing record, and 2 of them won state championships. Let's take a look at the outstanding career of Angie Reese.
She was the hometown coach, returning to her alma mater and building a powerhouse.
And she wanted the best for the kids. Loved to see them succeed. She never liked to lose, I do know that.
During a 25-year softball coaching career, there was not a ton of losing on the resume of Angie Reese. 20 of her seasons were at her alma mater, North Shelby High School, where she led her team to the Final Four 3 times and won state championships in 2000 and again in 2004.
Angie was not only a great, passionate coach, but a better person that genuinely cares about the players. Her goal of the program was to always prepare them for life.
She always taught us players to never give up and to fight for what you want and never settle for anything less. And if you look back, especially like the 2000 state championship team, a lot of those players are higher ups in their position and their jobs and careers. And so I think she played a huge role in making us all successful.
During her 25-year career, she won nearly 350 games. She was named Coach of the Year multiple times by multiple organizations. And perhaps the most impressive stat during her entire coaching career, she never had a team post a losing record.
You can't be a good coach unless you're a good teacher. And she was an excellent teacher. She had high expectations for her students, supported those students. There are students today, I'm sure, that still value the time they spent with her.
It's so much more than a game of softball. It's instilling respect, integrity, and challenging themselves to become more empowered women and change the future of, their lives, the world. It's so much bigger than a game of softball.
Away from the field, she was a staunch advocate for softball. In fact, she was a founding member of the Missouri Fast Pitch Softball Coaches Association, doing so to make sure softball athletes received the accolades they deserved. She also served on the Misha Softball Advisory Committee, and you can still find her around the field in North Shelby as she's coaching club teams. And who better to learn from than one of the state's great coaches?
Congratulations to making the Hall of Fame. It's well deserved, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you for empowering and changing the game of softball, not only for North Shelby, but for the state of Missouri, and instilling in the girls that you suck it up, buttercup, and if there's no blood or bone sticking out, we don't want to hear about it, because that mental toughness aspect of life has made you to who you are today, and has pushed the game of softball at North Shelby and surrounding counties, and that's all honored to you. Congratulations.
A North Shelby High School and Truman State University graduate, she began her coaching career at neighboring South Shelby High School before her 2-decade run at her alma mater. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Missouri Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Coach Angie Reese.
Hi, Norm. He's my Shelbyville hometown person right there. This is just a little bit bigger than Shelby County. It's an honor to be recognized for doing something that you love, and I have absolutely loved being a teacher and a coach. But you can't do that job without having a great supportive staff. So I'm going to take this time to thank a few people who've been on my team. First, I'd like to thank my mom and dad, who I know would have loved to have been here today, but they just physically aren't able to make that trip anymore. I grew up on a farm, so I learned how to work hard from sunup to sundown, and it was that work ethic that helped me be successful in my career. Plus, my mom and dad were always my biggest supporters throughout my playing and my coaching career. Second, I'd like to thank my administrators, my colleagues, my fellow coaches who worked with me throughout the years. You guys helped me deal with the disappointments of defeat and helped me celebrate the thrills of victory. You guys will mean more than you ever know. But most of all, I'd like to thank those players who played for me. They're the real reason I'm here today. They're the ones that had to go out and play every inning, make every out, score every run. I just got to go along for the ride. But I always tried to teach them there was more to life than just playing the game of softball. One of my rules on my team was I wouldn't let them say the word can't, because I taught them there's a big difference between can't and won't. And so it was really nice. In 2016, when I finally retired from coaching high school ball, I got a note from one of my former players who is a doctor. And she said every time she was struggling in medical school, she would think, oh, I can't do this, I can't do this. And then she'd say, wait a minute, what would Coach Reese say about that? She knew what Coach Reese would say about that. You can do anything you want to. So I'd like to take this time to congratulate the other members that were inducted today. I do want to have a special shout out to Putnam County Lady Midgets, Max Mothersbaugh and Mike Schmidley. Your teams were the epitome of what I always wanted my teams to strive to be. You guys made us better every year, and that helped us be successful in the postseason. But I've always been a firm believer that God gives each of us a special gift to share with others, and I just hope that I've done that with my life. Thank you.
Family, friends, here for Angie, if you'd stand at this time, appreciate you being here today. Angie Reese, enshrined as a member October 20th, 2024, in recognition of your outstanding contributions in the sport of softball. Dominant. That's one word to describe the 20-year run of success put up by the Putnam County softball teams from 1988 through 2007. Let's take a look back at a magical run of excellence.
This sign says it all. It notates a time of dominance that spanned 2 decades.
Everything we did was with a purpose in order to be prepared for the games, and I felt like we were always really prepared when it came game time.
All that preparation made for nearly perfect results. From 1988 to 2007, the span of 20 seasons, softball at Putnam County High School was nearly unstoppable. It included 12 trips to the Final Four, tied for third most in Missouri high school history.
A lot of times we would overachieve our athleticism, if that makes any sense. We had a lot of great athletes, don't get me wrong, but I do think some of the other teams that we played against had probably just as maybe as much talent, but we maximized it because of the expectations in practice and the expectations of that tradition never graduates.
The Lady Midgets captured state championships in 1990, 1998, and 2003. They earned runner-up finishes 3 times and captured 5 third-place finishes. At one point, they reached the Final Four 7 consecutive seasons and 10 out of 11 years.
Every single person contributed, no matter what level of role they had. If they were, the managers were awesome and they brought it every day, just as the players, if they were a starter or maybe came off the bench. I mean, every single person was valued and important.
We were playing hard in practice, we were playing hard in games, from the way we warmed up to the way we played, it was an expectation of excellence.
First led by head coach Max Mothersbaugh, then later by Mike Schmidley, Putnam County's 20-season run saw them win 414 games, losing just 81. That's an average season record of 21-4.
The intensity and the expectations were there from the very beginning. We had great leaders that just expected it. And so every year, the next group that came in, they knew what was expected and they stepped right in. And again, everything in practice was focused, and the level of effort was always great.
Dominant in just about every facet. From 1988 to 2007, Putnam County won 15 conference championships and 20 consecutive district titles, as they put the state on notice as one of the dominant programs in Missouri.
We always wanted to be our best, and to be the best in games, you had to be your best in practice too. So that winning culture, I think, for Putnam County was such a huge factor in our success.
Putnam County softball is so much more than just championships. It's a tradition of excellence, from who we are as individuals to how we played the game.
Congratulations to everybody that was a part of our softball program.
It is with great pleasure we welcome to the stage members of one of the most successful runs of high school softball in Missouri history. Here is the 1988 to 2007 softball era from Putnam County High School.
We have several members of these teams present. If you'd like to acknowledge the crowd as I call some names. Kelly Olmstead Briscoe, Rachel Cassidy, Ashley Crash Davis, Melanie Davis, Joe Dixon, Katie Steele Fairley, Tanya Pearson Fowler, Athletic Director Calvin Heidenwith, Jessica Steele Holt, Tracy Hurley, Ashley Pettis McGran, Brittany Cassidy McCown, Stacy Hines Meinke, Kristen Olmstead Myers, Amanda Manier, Coach Max Mothersbaugh, Lori Passley, Danielle Stout Riley, Sarah Riley, Kayla Smidley, Coach Mike Smidley, Julie Wilkinson, and Carissa Wilkinson McDonald. At this time, Coach Max Mothersbaugh will deliver the acceptance.
I got the mic. I'll be brief, and
First thing, I looked down at these players. Pardon me. Sorry about that. I look at these kids, players, and all the things they did for me. I'm sorry, I can't. It's cutting into my 3 minutes, isn't it? Our ball players, our softball programs at Putnam, they just build upon themselves yearly, and there became a Putnam way of doing things. I always call the way we played run and gun softball, because we were going to put the pedal to the metal and do it effectively. I had the good fortune to coach a great group of kids for 10 years. And when I knew I was going to the college at North Central, we coaches, we like the fact that we have a program and we want it to continue on and on even after we're gone from it. And it carried on. And I got on the phone when I knew I was going to come to the college, and I talked to Coach Mike Smedley, who was at Eagleville having great teams and great success, and talked him into taking the Putnam job after I left. I wanted to turn it over to someone that would just continue and take the ball and run with it. And Mike did more than an adequate job on that. He's an outstanding coach. I'm a little late on this, real quick. Thank the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. This is just incredible, and we appreciate it. Players, coaches, fans, so forth. I would ask my wife, Teresa, to stand up. My daughters, Tracy and Lori, you guys are already standing up. And my son, Marty. And Marty, would you stand up? But I want to say something to you. Marty was a perfect son for us because we were a softball family that traveled all over the place. And he sometimes got the short end of the stick. And so I want to extra recognize him tonight. And by the way, he found a way to be all district in 3 sports in high school. So, Coach Medley, if you guys would stand up, Melissa, Kayla, and Clay. Are you already up? Oh, there you go. And I'll end it up with this. I certainly did, and I don't think there were very many that realized what kind of a ride we were going to be on for 20 years. And interestingly enough, the 21st district that we lost, it was 1-0. So it was pretty good. I'm going to start getting emotional again, so I'll just say thank you very much, ladies. Thanks to all the fans and so forth and so on. Thank you.
All of the folks from Putnam County, please stand. It's not a surprise that Coach remembers the 1-0 game after 20 years of district, is it? Putnam County High School, 1988 to 2007 softball era, enshrined as members October 20th, 2024, in recognition of their outstanding contributions in the sport of softball. Our next inductee is coached Hall of Famers, and now today he takes his rightful place alongside them. He's known as the father of Mizzou gymnastics, and today he's also known as a Missouri Sports Hall of Famer. He's Jake Jacobson.
In the 1970s, he was asked to start the program. And he did. The father of Mizzou gymnastics would find his way to Columbia.
We respected the heck out of him, and he let us know, you're here to compete for your university and represent Mizzou with pride, and we loved every second of it.
Charles Jacobson, affectionately known as Jake, was the first gymnastics coach in Mizzou history. It's a post he held for 20 years. Along the way, he scored 229 victories, the winningest coach in school history.
He was very good at making the kids feel very welcome at Mizzou, and that's how I believe that's how he was able to attract so many top-notch gymnasts from throughout the country.
Perhaps his greatest trait, a master of making Mizzou gymnastics a must-see competition. He founded 3 premier events, the Shakespeare Festival, the Corvette Cup, and the Cat Classic, which set a program record with more than 10,000 in attendance in 1987.
His leadership was vital to the progression and the enthusiasm we have built around University of Missouri gymnastics.
He took gymnastics to the next level and put Mizzou on the map. But then he went on and created the Shakespeare's Festival and the Corvette Cup, and he just was always coming up with creative ways to market the sport.
Jacobson was named the Coach of the Year in both the Big 8 and the Big 12 Conference, leading his team to 13 NCAA regional appearances. Along the way, he coached All-Americans, a Conference Athlete of the Year, and guided 30 gymnasts to all-conference honors and 5 athletes to conference championships. In 1980, he founded the Tiger Academy of Gymnastics, where he mentored the youth for the next 33 years. It was a continuation of his legacy as one of the great teachers of the sport.
From our University of Missouri Athletic Department and the whole gymnastics community, we want to thank Jake for his contributions. MIZ.
We just wanted to say that we're so happy for you and we're proud of you. This honor is long overdue. Nobody deserves it more. And thank you for all you've done for University of Missouri Gymnastics and everyone who was a part of the program. We love you and congratulations.
Jake has always been someone I've looked up to. He has always been an honor and a privilege to work for and be friends with Jake all these years. Congratulations, Jake, for an honor well deserved.
A native of Iowa, he served in the United States Marine Corps before joining the staff at his alma mater, Grandview College. He eventually got the call to come to Columbia, and the rest is history. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Missouri Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Coach Jake Jacobson.
First of all, I want to just congratulate all the inductees of the 2024 Hall of Fame class. I want to thank the folks at the Missouri State Athletic Hall of Fame for making this such a memorable event for all of us. To those that nominated me, I want to say thank you so much. Julie Dorn, you were an amazing gymnast and did so well for Mizzou. You're the most decorated gymnast in Mizzou history. I only wish my wonderful wife of 61 years was here. Nola Jean, the homecoming queen. Unfortunately, she passed away of Alzheimer's 4 years ago. But our 3 daughters are here, Julie, Jackie, and Jill the Pill. Dale and Julie Sparks, Jackie Jacobson and Carl Slate, Tim and Jill Marion. Our grandson Kyle Eads is here with his wife Lindsay. Caitlin Eads is engaged to Tyler Zonka. Our other 2 granddaughters, Kayla Klaus is here with Nicholas Larkins. Our youngest granddaughter, Courtney Jo Klaus, a strong, independent woman. I'd like to have my assistant coach, Jeff Connor, stand. Jeff, you and your wife, Kathy, did and continue doing so much for me. Thanks from the bottom of my heart. Jack Watkins, please stand. Jack, you and your wife, Jenny, worked at Mizzou when Bob Brendel was sports information director. Your efforts, plus Ralston Purina, State Farm, many businesses and individuals, made women's gymnastics the third largest sport in attendance and revenue at the University of Missouri. I know that much of this will be on Facebook, and many former gymnasts will see this, well as coaches, judges, etc., and many friends. All I can say is thanks for the wonderful memories along with the gray hair. Now, I also want to say that my favorite country singer is George Jones, and he had a song titled "These Old Eyes Have Seen It All." My 88-year-old eyes have now seen it all. M-I-Z. Semper Fi, and thank you.
I know Coach has lots of family, friends, former coaches, a lot of Mizzou fans. If you'd stand at this time, thank you for coming. I have a problem remembering my own kids' names. He just reeled off all of that without a single note. So, Jake Jacobson, enshrined as a member October 20th, 2024, in recognition of your outstanding contributions in the sport of gymnastics.
Thank you.
Get a picture of
Yeah.
I'm going to set this at your table to help you back.
Okay.
Our next inductee was a key figure in building the Columbia College volleyball program into a national powerhouse. A three-time All-American, Amy Mesh-Frederick, is one of the top volleyball players in Missouri history. Let's take a look at her video.
At a young age, she really loved basketball until she found a new sport.
After the very first practice, she came home so excited. She said, "This is the best sport in the whole wide world." After that, we tried everything we could to help her get even better.
What Mom and Dad did absolutely worked. At Salem High School, Amy Mesh-Frederick was the Conference Player of the Year and twice an All-State honoree. She led her team to a third-place finish at state in 1993. She would become a recruiting hot commodity.
I said, I don't know if we got a shot at her because there are some Division I schools that are actively recruiting her, but she's from a smaller town and you never know, so.
It turns out Wayne Krekla would hit the jackpot and Amy would join the team at Columbia College. In 4 years, she led the team to 4 conference championships, 3 regional championships, and 4 trips to the NAIA National Tournament.
The program was good, but it really hadn't competed on a national level up to that point. And with Amy coming in, that really allowed us to take a huge step in terms of being nationally competitive.
She was a good teammate too, because she gave a lot of pats on the back when somebody did something right. And she would also give a "that's okay" when somebody didn't do something right. So, you know, she was their best cheerleader. And, you know, you couldn't ask for a better teammate and a fierce competitor.
During her time at Columbia College, she was named an All-American 3 times. In fact, she was the first volleyball player in school history to earn 3 consecutive All-American honors. She is still in the top 10 in school history for solo blocks, assist blocks, and total blocks.
She was just an awesome player, and she had all the qualities. Athleticism, she was very athletic, quick, could jump well, all the things you want in a volleyball player. She had a great court presence. She was very coachable and had great parents. So she had all the keys to make her successful in the court.
When Mesh Frederick left Columbia College, she did so as one of the most successful players in school history. 4 years, 182 victories, just 29 losses.
It's always rewarding to see former players of yours succeed in life well after you're done playing the sport. So congrats, Amy. Very well deserved. We couldn't be more happy for you. Enjoy the day.
Amy, thank you for all the exciting memories that you've given us and the years we've gotten to travel and go places with you and watch you play. They were the best years of our lives, no doubt. We're so proud of your accomplishments, and we are especially proud of you today. Congratulations on this terrific honor, and way to go, Lindsay.
It is with great pleasure we welcome one of the great volleyball players in Columbia College history. Here is Missouri Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Mrs. Amy Mesh Frederick.
Wow. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed members of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, honored guests, fellow inductees, I stand before you today with immense gratitude and deep humility as I accept this incredible honor. Being inducted into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame is not just a personal milestone, it represents the collective efforts, struggles, and triumphs of so many who have helped support me along this amazing journey. First and foremost, I would like to thank my parents. Your unwavering belief in me has been my guiding light. You have been there through every challenge, most road trips, celebrating the victories and lifting me through the tough times. This achievement is as much yours as it is mine. I am also grateful to have my current family here, my husband, kids, and my brother. It truly makes my heart happy. And of course to the selection committee for believing in my journey and for this remarkable acknowledgement. I would also like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Columbia College. It would simply not be right to overlook them being here today with their support. The positive impact that Columbia College has had on my life cannot be overstated. It was pivotal in shaping my future. My husband and I were so inspired by my experiences that we chose to name our painting company that we started together, Cougar Painting. Yes, you heard that right. I often get asked where the name comes from, and I proudly share that it's a tribute to the incredible journey that Columbia College has provided me. And just as a fun note, I'd like to add that my husband is 7 months younger than me. I don't feel that it would be a true accepting speech without sharing a story. It must have been during my junior or senior year when I was finally an upperclassman and of age. We were at a tournament near a beach, and since I was out with a shoulder injury, I thought it would be nice to help my team bond by picking up some adult beverages for our time on the beach. Until my plan took a turn when our coaches, Wayne and Susan Krucklow, unexpectedly walked into the store just as I was making my way to the counter. Needless to say, those adult beverages found their new home on the shelf that I was trying to quickly hide behind, and my idea of team bonding quickly turned into an immediate team meeting given by our wonderful coaches explaining to us exactly what we were supposed to not be doing. The moral of the story maybe offer your coaches a cold one too. In closing, let us remember that each of us has the potential to make a difference, no matter how small. Thank you once again for this profound honor. I am truly humbled and deeply inspired to carry this legacy forward. Thank you.
Amy's family and friends, please stand at this time. Thank you for being here today. Amy Mesh Frederick, enshrined as a member October 20th, 2024, in recognition of your outstanding contributions in the sport of volleyball. An undefeated state championship season on the gridiron is the stuff of legend. How about 2 undefeated seasons in a span of 3 years? Even better, and also Hall of Fame worthy. Let's go back in time and remember a couple of great Rockbridge football teams.
In the mid-1970s, the newest school in Columbia found themselves on the verge of greatness.
We were undefeated in 74, and unfortunately in 74, from point systems, we were kept out of being in the playoffs. And we thought that with most of the returning starters coming back, that 75 would be even better.
Turns out it was. Under the leadership of head coach Rich Davies, the 1975 Rockbridge football team was perfect. 12-0, state champions. On the season, they outscored their opponents 390 to 53.
We were competent. He would all say, be confident, not cocky, and we really were. That was impressed upon us, and it wasn't individual performance. It was always about how can the team win. So, at the end of the year, going through a schedule of pretty tough opponents that really didn't, they weren't very close games, as you can see with the record.
2 years later, they had a new coach, but the results were the same. Led by John Henke, other than a 0-0 tie against Mexico, Rockbridge ran the table again, winning their second state championship with a suffocating defense that pitched 4 shutouts and held 6 teams to just 1 score.
We was undersized. We was never, ever intimidated. We didn't intimidate a lot of people either, but we was never intimidated. And we knew that collectively, if we hung together, if we listened to Coach Henke and Coach Devine and do the things that we was taught to do, then we can accomplish almost anything that we could set out to do.
The 1975 and 77 state championships represent the only football state titles in Rockbridge school history, and they were one of just 6 teams across all classifications to win at least 2 championships in the decade.
It was a very rewarding experience, and it was very hard for Dan because it was so much fun, and I have had great friends throughout that year, and I continue to maintain those relationships.
Rockbridge High School was the first Columbia public school to win a Misha football state championship. All told, the school has won 51 state championships across all sports, but the first 2 we honor today.
So it took that whole village in order, and of course, don't want to forget, our wonderful student body. We had such a wonderful student body. We traveled well, we went places, and you knew it was Rockbridge Bruins and our green and gold, screaming and hollering for us to win a game. So I appreciate all those who supported us along the path, and appreciate it very much.
And we had a great culture, a great school, a great city, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful, life-changing experience for me and the rest of the team.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us recognize the history makers. Please welcome a member of both championship teams, Mark Lewis, as well as members of the 1975 and 1977 state championship football teams from Rockbridge High School.
We have several members of these teams present. You can acknowledge the crowd if you'd like. Wesley G. Buckner, Hobie Crane, Steve Curry, Dr. Van Darko, Reverend James Gray, Coach John Henke, Mark Lewis, Mark Majors, Raymond Nunnally, Damon Redden, Jim Roebuck, Daryl Smith, Gary Tapp, represented by Alma Tapp, Maurice Tapp, Ken Turner, represented by Jackie Turner, Terry Whitney, Will Young. At this time, Mark Lewis will deliver the acceptance.
Hello. I had the honor of playing on both the 75 and 77 undefeated Bruin teams, and it's a privilege to be able to talk to you today about those teams. 1975 team, first-year head coach Rich Davies instilled a toughness in this team. In my opinion, it was the most dominating team in Rockbridge football history. As a sophomore that year, I felt like the seniors were men playing against boys. Big, strong, and fast, we dominated the 3A division that year. Coach Davies ran a T formation offense with 2 tight ends, which emphasized running. And did we have some runners? Behind quarterback Tim Wolf were all-state running backs Sam Smith and John Massey, and also Mark Golden, may he rest in peace. All 3 running backs gained over 900 yards that season. But not to be outdone, the defense led by Phil Brady, John Cunningham, Kent Gibson, Mark Gill, Todd Drennan, and Van Darko were indestructible. Coach Davies was once quoted as saying his 1975 team was the best high school football team he had ever seen, no doubt. I feel it appropriate to recognize the coaches, seniors, players, and managers who made up that 75 team. Coaches Rich Davies, Al Hatfield, Glenn Berry, Kurt Borg, and Jeff Wallace. Senior players, Joe Allen, Phil Brady, Bill Burnett, John Cunningham, Todd Drennan, David Forward, Kent Gibson, Mark Gill, Paul Graysnack, Judd Heisel, Dwayne Lewis, John Massey, John Powderly, Tim Scott, Sam Smith, John Stafford, Ben White, Eddie Willis, and Tim Wolf. Managers Jim Wiley, Steve Edwards, Dave Thoman, and Steve Schofield. Congrats to the 75 team. In 1977, a new coach came to Columbia, in Coach John Henke. We were excited to start our new era of Bruin football, and Coach Henke introduced us to a new conditioning program. It was pretty tough, but we bought into Coach's program, and it was a good thing because the first game we played was in 100-degree heat against St. Louis Chaminade. We overcame that heat. But that year, Coach Henke brought in a new veer offense better suited for the players we had. It allowed me, Ken Turner, and Gary Robertson to excel in the backfield, while Ray Nunley and Will Young and others made giant holes for us to run through. Coach Dan Devine Jr. helped us perfect our monster stunning defense, which Greg Mingle, Jeff Early, Terry Whitney, and Doug Nichols and others used to make tackles and shut down opponents. To 3A Coach of the Year, John Henke, you were just what we needed to be successful. Thank you for bringing your vision and football philosophy to Rockbridge. You affected my life and the lives of other players on the team in such a positive way, we will never forget you. And of course, we want to thank Mrs. Henke for bringing you home. But before I end, I want to acknowledge our coaches, senior players, and managers from 77. John Henke, Bob Howard, Dan Devine, Dan Wright, and Jeff Wallace. Senior players Jeff Early, Doug Nichols, Ken Turner, Mark Majors, Dwight Williams, Hobie Crane, Mike Hall, Terry Tolson, Terry Whitney, Duke Hadusik, Doug James, Mark Brockman, Greg Mingle, Dan Cullen, Kurt Seller, Will Young, Ray Nunley, Rob Shaw, Charlie Kilfoyle, Darrell Smith, Rick Torres, Greg Meinert, and myself, and rest in peace, Danny Sapp, Byron Smith, and Gary Robertson. Managers Steve Schofield, James Gray, Janice Gregory, and Stuart Mahan. On behalf of the players from both teams, I want to thank the Rockbridge administrators, teachers, fans, cheerleaders, Pom Squad, marching band, parents, and families for their support over those years. We especially want to thank the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame for honoring both teams today, and I want to congratulate all the other inductees today. Go Bruins.
Lots of family and friends from these Rockbridge teams, please stand at this time. Thank you for coming out today. Rockbridge High School 1975 and 1977 state championship football teams, enshrined as members October 20th, 2024, in recognition of their outstanding contributions in the sport of football. Some of y'all look like you could go suit up tomorrow if you needed to. Our next inductee advanced to 6 Final Fours in 18 seasons and won a pair of state championships on the hardwood. To this day, the Harrisburg teams play on Coach Combs' court. Let's take a look at the video for Steve Combs.
The court is named in his honor, and for good reason.
There's not many things in his life that he holds in higher regard than Harrisburg basketball. And so,
Steve Combs coached his alma mater, Harrisburg High School, for 18 seasons. In those 18 seasons, he won more than 300 games and took 6 of his teams to the Final Four.
He loves his community and they love basketball. And so there was a great chance for him. And not everybody can go back home and be successful. And he did and was very successful. And that's because of his mindset. You know, I'm gonna go out and try this. Whatever happens, happens.
He would lead Harrisburg to the state championship in both 2006 and again in 2008. They won nearly 80% of the games played on the court that bears his name, and from 2003 to 2009, lost just 3 home games.
he was always a player's coach, and so he was an easy coach to play for. He was demanding, he was tough, he had high expectations, but at the same time, you knew that he was always going to have your back, and he always wanted the best for you.
It was just hard-nosed, we're going to play harder than you basketball, and that's how he was successful, and to do it at his hometown, in his alma mater, it just shows you the amount of respect that the families and the community has for him, and the legacy that he's built there.
Combs would coach his teams to 9 district championships and saw 11 different players earn multiple All-State honors. For his work, he was named the Class II Coach of the Year twice. Since retiring as head coach, he has coached AAU teams. He served as superintendent of schools and even headed back to the bench as an assistant. All in the same place, he built his Hall of Fame career.
You've been obviously a huge influence in my life and so many other players and people that you've come into contact with, and every honor that you've gotten, including this one, you deserved all of them. So thank you for everything you've done for me. Thank you for everything you've done for Harrisburg and for basketball in the state of Missouri. This honor couldn't have gone to anybody better, so congratulations.
Steve, I just want to congratulate you on your entrance into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you for being a mentor to me and a leader for me and for so many other young people out there. And we'll all miss you if you ever retire, stop coaching. But for now, again, keep on keeping on, and congratulations.
Congratulations on being selected to the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. You're my friend for 30 years, and no one I know deserves this honor more than you.
A former All-State player for Harrisburg, he played collegiately at Moberly Area Community College and Columbia College before starting his journey into coaching. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Missouri Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Coach Steve Combs.
Wow, that brings like a lot of great memories and a great tribute. Thank you so much for putting that together. I'd like to thank the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame for bestowing such a great honor to me. I'm very honored to be part of the 2024 class, and just congratulations to my fellow inductees, and a lot of Cougars up here. Coach Logston and Amy, and of course the man who started it all down there, Coach Burchard. I'd like to give a shout out to our Columbia College folks. Like a lot of thank yous today. I couldn't do them without all the love and support of all the folks that I'm about to mention, and the several more that I'm going to forget, but just what a ride, what an honor. My wife, Carmen, she's been my rock, true coach's wife. Can't get emotional, I'll get emotional. Can't get emotional. Not only do we carve out a Hall of Fame career, but we're raising a great family. Carmen is an accomplished coach and athlete herself. She was inducted to the Hall of Fame a couple years back in the high school softball era, and she's let me know all the time that she's in the Hall of Fame and I'm not. So Thank you for evening things up in the Combs household. I was in the Basketball Hall of Fame, but she said, well, that's just basketball and sports. But that's Carmen, she's a true competitor. Couldn't done without you. Love you, babe. My kids, Cade, Bailey, Trace, and Brody, they make me so proud. I've coached them all in some capacity throughout the years. They've had to be the coach's kids, which is sometimes tough to do. They never complained about how they had to make sacrifices for dad's teams, as long as they get to stop at McDonald's once in a while and ride the bus home once in a while, but they never complained. My daughter Bailey did, though, about when she's 5 or 6 years old, said, Dad, you need to let the other teams win once in a while. I said, no, sis, I'm not going to let them win. Look what happened. She quickly grew out of that, though. She's more competitive than I think any of them. My sister, Christina and Dave, and her husband, Dave, represented our family, my late parents, Howard and Carol Combs. They were my biggest fans. Only thing sweeter if they could have been here today to share this with me. But my dad would have talked everyone's ear off, especially Coach Stewart's. He would have been right over there talking to Coach. He was a huge basketball fan. I want to thank all my coaches and supporters I worked with over the years, including those here today. Mrs. Susie Eaton, who not only taught me how to read as my first grade teacher, but also she's the better half of the late Coach Lowell Eaton, who was a mentor of mine, both on and off the court. She's here with her grandson, Bender, was Rod Smith's favorite play of the week the other night. A big lineman got the ball and scored a conversion. Bach and Fish, as you guys saw those, Coach Bachmeyer and Coach Fisher. Coach Bach was my early mentor, and Coach Fisher was a career extender. Those two were invaluable. Bach, gave me a line early in my career that after a tough playoff loss, he said, you got to enjoy the process and not worry about the outcomes as much. And I started doing that, and we started winning a lot of ball games and championships. He's been a great friend for 30 years. Kyle Fisher, a great player for me, was on my first state title, extended my career as an assistant coach as well. And he's really good. I'm glad the comment about me being the best assistant in the world now didn't make it in there, so I didn't have to mention that. Coach Burchard and Coach Logston, from my Columbia College days, Coach Burchard taught me how to work at it hard every day. He came to work every day with intensity, and I carried that in through my career. And he was a great mentor of mine, and he was an excellent coach. Supporters, coaches here today, Art, Johnny, Vicky, Hal, and Gail, thank you for being here today. Huge roles, different places. Coach Ackman, Mira, Miss Molly for coming today. Finally, for all my players, we all know we couldn't have got it done without players. I had great players who bought in and did everything I asked them to do and bought into that. Also our community, the Harrisburg Community Board, Booster Club, administration, fans, friends, everyone bought into the Harrisburg way. They made it to the front row, and we're always here, we're always loud, and thank you for coming today, and thank you for this award. I share it with Harrisburg. Thank you.
Coach Combs has lots of family, friends, fellow coaches here. If you'd here for Coach, stand up, please. Steve Combs, enshrined as a member October 20th, 2024, in recognition of your outstanding contributions in the sport of basketball. Our next inductee is a Lincoln University lifer. He first started as a basketball player for the Blue Tigers and has been a coach and administrator since his playing days. Recently, he earned the title of Athletic Director, and today he adds Hall of Famer to his credits. He's Tim Abney.
If ever two things were synonymous with each other, it's Tim Abney and Lincoln University.
He has been forever going above and beyond for the Blue Tigers. It means so much to him.
A graduate of Central High School in Kansas City, Abney first stepped on campus at Lincoln back in the 1970s when he was a 1,000-point scorer on the basketball team, leading them to the NCAA Division II Elite Eight. Nearly 50 years later, he serves as athletic director.
I can't speak enough about the character of the man that is Tim Abney. The amount of students that feel comfortable coming by Tim's office to sit down and share what's going on in their lives. The number of coaches that he influences, just has a listening ear to assist through the turbulent times that can exist throughout a sports season.
Abney did step away from Lincoln for a while. He was a Conference Coach of the Year and won 191 games in 13 seasons as the women's basketball coach at North Carolina A&T, which included a trip to the 1994 NCAA tournament. In fact, he was recently inducted into their Hall of Fame. Upon his return to Lincoln, he coached the women's basketball team for 10 years and became the second winningest coach in school history.
When he recruited us, he treated all of his players like if they were his very own. From making sure that we got all of our classes that we enrolled. He even went above and beyond just the regular 4 years. If some of us needed to go to summer school, he would find a way to find somewhere in the budget that he could help us with that. And most of us, because of that, were able to graduate in a 4-year time frame.
When not coaching, he has served several roles at Lincoln University, including Assistant Athletic Director for Administration, a position he would hold for 8 years. He served as an advisor to student athletes, and at one point in one semester, he helped 120 Lincoln athletes earn Dean's List honors. He was named the Interim Athletic Director in April 2024, and this October 1st was named the full-time Athletic Director.
And I'd say beyond the coaching and the administration, it's the care that Tim Abney has. He's a Hall of Fame person above all else.
Not to be outdone, Abney also coached the Lincoln women's tennis team, taking them to a postseason berth in 2012. It's part of his relationship that began with the school 4.5 decades ago.
Coach Abney, on behalf of all of your players from North Carolina A&T State University, we want to congratulate you and thank you for all that you have done for us, and you deserve all of these flowers while you're still here with us.
Congratulations, Tim. On behalf of the university, we're so proud of you. Go Blue Tigers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to welcome to the podium one of the great names in Lincoln University history. Please welcome Missouri Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Tim Abney.
I first just want to give honor to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ just for allowing me to be here today. I want to also congratulate the other inductees. Congratulations, it's just an honor to be a part of this 2024 class. There would be no me without she. I would like to recognize my wife of 46 years of marriage, Diane Abney. My 3 children, Daryl, Danny, and D'Andrea, my granddaughter, Ayana. And let me make sure I do not forget this, because when I was inducted into the A&T Hall of Fame, my sister Brenda came out there and I forgot to mention her name. Brenda, my sister Rosetta is here, and also my brother Gary. And also I have my nieces and nephews are here, special friend of family, Pastor E. Also I have some of my former basketball players here as well, and then of course the Lincoln University family that is here. I want to say thank you for just supporting me from start to a finish, and a special recognition to a person that's been just a blessing in my life. Ever since that he has arrived at Lincoln University, I have learned an awful lot, and that is the president of Lincoln University, that's Dr. John Mosley. Also, I'd like to just recognize, she snuck in, I'd like to recognize the First Lady of Lincoln University, Dr. Krista Mosley. She's here. Thank you. Just quickly tell you my journey that I learned a long time ago, that it's not about me, but about we, doing everything together. And I learned that as a basketball player from Central High School, to coming to Lincoln University and just working very hard. But the biggest thing that changed my life was when Don Corbett, he was the head men's basketball coach at Lincoln, took me to North Carolina A&T and started me in my coaching career. And the biggest thing that I found out, I had not coached a day in my life, but the biggest thing that he said is that, you don't know why I brought you with me. I said, well, yeah, because I played. He said, no, because you are loyal, you are committed, and that you're going to do it the right way. And that meant a lot to me. And one thing that I wanted to do as I started coaching that I wanted to start to learn and give back to young men and women. I was out there at A&T and coached on the men's side, then I transferred over and started coaching the women's side. I had no idea that I was going to do that, but the Lord put it in my heart to do that. And after I transitioned back to Lincoln University, I've been back to Lincoln for 25 years. And the biggest thing that I have tried to do with all of my heart is whatever the Lord will allow me to do my very best for these young men and women, to help them to be the best that they can be. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. So on behalf of Lincoln University and everybody, thank you for just entrusting in me to just simply do the right thing. Thank you.
Lots of family, friends that Tim mentioned. If you're here today for Tim, please stand. Tim Abney, enshrined as a member October 20th, 2024, in recognition of your outstanding contributions in the sport of basketball and athletic administration. A three-peat. It's hard to win a state title and even harder to win back-to-back crowns. Our next inductees from Helias Catholic won 3 baseball championships in a row from 1987 to 1989. The man that guided them to all 3 titles, Denny Hughes, will join those teams in the Hall of Fame today after an impactful career leading young men on the diamond. Let's take a look at the video.
In the late 1980s, they were the teams to beat, except no one could.
All positions were solid. I mean, all of our players were, excellent. The team was just exceptional.
That's putting it mildly. You see, the 3 seasons from 1987 to 1989, there was no better baseball teams in Missouri than those from Helias Catholic. 3 teams, 3 consecutive state championships.
We had some guys that were pretty good, but we had a lot of guys that were just hard workers, blue-collar guys that showed up to practice every day and did their job. And there was always a confidence there that everybody knew that if one guy didn't get the job done, the next guy was going to get it done. And then we knew we were going to win the game. We knew we were prepared. So it was just a confidence level that we knew we were going to get it done.
Led by head coach Denny Hughes, Helias rolled through these 3 seasons with a 69-7 record. Their 1988 team was a perfect 26-0, one of only 12 Missouri high school teams to ever post a perfect record. And they're one of just 7 schools to ever win 3 consecutive baseball state championships.
To win 2 in a row, to even win 3 in a row, the feeling is, exciting. You're ecstatic. You just don't ever dream of winning a state title. You dream of it, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. And to win 2 in a row, for me was exceptional.
Well, it was big. Back then wrestling was really on a roll. I think they won 5 or 6 wrestling championships in a row, and we'd won our first one in '87, and we kind of wanted to, follow in the footsteps of the wrestling program and just win it every year. We have an idea that we had a good nucleus of guys that could really play, and we worked hard, and it meant a lot to the program in that it set up the stage for later success.
Their 3-season run saw them set a state record with 56 consecutive victories. Numerous players earned postseason accolades, and they were the true team of the decade. Helias Catholic was the only team in the 80s to win 3 consecutive championships, and their 3 titles the most by any school in any class in the decade.
Again, it's kind of a cliche, but it's very true. Baseball, sports, it's a game of relationships, and we developed some really good relationships back in the late 80s, and it was because we all had a common goal and we achieved it. Guys, congratulations. I'm happy for all you guys. We had a great run. Had some great times together. Just proud of all we accomplished.
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate everybody, all my teammates, Coach Hughes. This is a great honor. So I congratulate all of you.
They fielded one of the dominant stretches in high school baseball that Missouri has ever seen. If you faced one of his teams on the baseball diamond, you knew you best bring your A game.
His teams fundamentally were just so sound. They just executed to a very, very high level and very, very consistently.
Denny Hughes began his coaching career at his alma mater, Helias Catholic, and posted 137 wins to just 38 losses during 8 seasons. He won 7 conference and 7 district championships, at one point leading his team to a 56-game winning streak. He took his teams to 4 Final Fours and won 3 consecutive state championships in '87, '88, and '89.
I was always impressed with about Denny's coaching style was how positive he was. He encouraged everyone. He made his players feel like they could do it. And, obviously he taught them a lot about the game, but I think the mental side of it was equally as important, and I think that was Denny's strength.
Hughes would eventually move to the college ranks, coaching Westminster from 2012 to 2019, winning 169 games along the way. He was the 2013 Conference Coach of the Year and led the Blue Jays to a conference championship and 7 postseason appearances.
And his legacy at Westminster will be remembered for a long time because he developed great baseball players, he won championships, and most importantly, he really embraced our model of student athlete. And our baseball team always had one of the highest GPAs in the conference and one of the best programs in our school. And that was because of Denny and what he expected of his players, both on and off the field.
The kids loved him. They loved the learning. They loved obviously the success that they were having. But it was just a wonderful experience for them. And yeah, I've always felt like in order for a coach to be good, he has to be a great teacher and he has to make it fun for the kids. And Denny did both of those really well.
Away from the schools, he coached his American Legion team to a state runner-up finish, and in 1995 launched a youth baseball program, and even at one point coached the USSA baseball team for 4 years. It's all part of his career that saw him get his first head coaching job at just 22 years old.
I love you, and I am so proud of the man you've become and the success that you've had, and congratulations to you on this wonderful honor, and to all of those kids from those teams who had the blessing of getting to play for you.
Denny, as a member of the Jefferson City community, I want you to know how proud we are to have you as part of our team here. And we are so happy for you. I can't think of anyone more deserving to be a member of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame than you. Congratulations.
A graduate from the University of Central Missouri, Hughes also spent 12 years in administration at Helias in between his coaching stints. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Missouri Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Coach Denny Hughes.
We have several members of these baseball teams. We're going to introduce them before Coach Hughes. Chad Barnes, Rob Bernsketter, Brian Franska, Wes Higgins, Denny Higgins, Kevin Oligschlager, Matt Retterman, Brent Schneiders, Tim Schulte, Chris Veith, Chris Wyrick, and Coach Denny Hughes will now deliver the acceptance for not only these teams, but also for himself.
Thank you, and good afternoon to everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame for presenting our 1987, 88, and 89 baseball teams and myself with such a great honor. Also, I'd like to again congratulate all the 2024 inductees. We are truly humbled to be included with all of you in the class of 2024. I have been truly blessed, and there are a lot of people that I need to thank. I'm from a family of 9 kids, so I feel very fortunate of having had the opportunity to attend Helias High School as a student back in the 1970s. I thank Elias, which provided me an outstanding opportunity to receive a faith-filled education, and for that I am extremely grateful. It was during my high school years at Helias that we began the baseball program. As a matter of fact, it was in the spring of 1975, and it was a pleasure to get to play on that very first team. 1 year later, in 1976, We won the school's first district baseball championship, and we actually have some of those players here today, along with our first head baseball coach, Dan Oshner. Thanks to you guys for your part in getting Elias baseball off to a great start. In 1980, I graduated from Central Missouri State University, and I was offered a teaching and coaching position back at my alma mater, and I was initially hired to coach freshman football and junior varsity basketball. But Coach Oshner encouraged me to volunteer as a varsity baseball assistant, and I did. And at the end of the school year, Coach O took a position outside of education, so the head baseball coaching position was offered to me. I'm thankful to Elias administration for entrusting me to take over the baseball program 1 year removed from college. After a successful start to the Elias baseball program in the 1970s, we were able to build off of that and start a run of many successful baseball seasons in the 1980s, capped off with a pretty good run of 5 straight quarterfinals that included a third-place finish and 3 straight state championships. The 1987, 88, and 89 baseball season was without a doubt an exciting time for Elias Catholic High School and the baseball teams. I was very fortunate to get the opportunity to work with so many talented players and teams, but the team of this 1987, 88, and 89 era had a combination of overall talent, commitment, dedication, and leadership that was totally off the charts. This group combined superb pitching, solid defense that not only made the routine plays, but they routinely made all the difficult plays. The offense was very aggressive with tremendous plate discipline. We had players from top to bottom in our lineup that were threats at the plate, which allowed us to manufacture many runs by playing a lot of small ball. This was a special group that truly enjoyed playing the game of baseball and worked hard to be the best that they could be. For me, practices were as much fun as the games were. The players were very successful at focusing on the game at hand. We had a 56-game winning streak during that stretch that could have been distracting, but the guys remained focused and worked at getting better each and every practice. The parental support with this group of players was unbelievably great. It wasn't an accident that this was a dedicated, disciplined, and respectful group of players. I'm so proud of this era of Elias Catholic baseball and happy that the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame has recognized their unbelievable achievements. I want to also recognize and thank our assistant coaches during those years, Sam Sneeders and Tom Doherty. After a career change that included becoming the chief administrator at Elias, which was a great moment in my life, I had another circumstance that created a great baseball opportunity for me. I had a friend call me and ask if I'd be interested in coaching at Westminster College. I eventually applied, interviewed, and was hired, and held that position through the 2019 baseball season when I officially retired. During that time, we made it to the postseason 7 times with a SLEAC championship and a national tournament appearance. Winning a lot of games at Westminster College was a lot of fun, but having the opportunity to meet so many wonderful parents and players is what made my time at Westminster College so special. We have some of those players, along with our assistant coaches, Dane Hughes and Kurt Vaughn, with us today. I want to thank all those guys and also Westminster College for giving me that great opportunity. I'm very grateful for the baseball coaching opportunities afforded me throughout my life. I have many people, from administrators, coaches, players, and parents to thank for these opportunities, as well as my wife of 41 years for her understanding and support. And again, on behalf of the 87, 88, and 89 Elias Catholic baseball teams, as well as for myself, I want to thank the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame for this tremendous honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Lots of folks here for these teams, as well as Coach Hughes. If you'd stand at this time, thank you for coming out today. A couple of plaques to present. The entire side of that room looks like. Elias Catholic High School, 1987 to 1989 baseball era, enshrined as members October 20th, 2024 in recognition of their outstanding contributions in the sport of baseball. Denny Hughes, enshrined as a member October 20th, 2024, in recognition of your outstanding contributions in the sport of baseball. Our next inductee is one of the most dominant athletes to ever compete in an individual sport in Mizzou history. He followed up national runner-up finishes on the mat his first 2 seasons with a dominating 87-0 run to finish his career, which included back-to-back national championships. He is Ben Askren.
On the mat, he was a monster, the best to ever do it in Mizzou history.
He elevated the room in mindset and energy and just the way we approached it with enjoying the sport, that he's a special young man in what he's accomplished in his life.
Ben Askren came to Columbia as a high school champion from Wisconsin. It did not take long to replicate the success. He was the conference champion as a freshman and finished his freshman and sophomore years as the national runner-up before finally breaking through.
But then I look over at Ben, and Ben's picking his hair out. His fro's out to, about 3 feet high. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, Ben, we gotta get serious. He's like, I got this, coach. I got this. And we're standing in the tunnel. He looks at me, and I'm all tense. He's like, I got this, coach. And he did. He went out and majored Jake Herbert, wins the Hodge, and the rest is history.
Wow, great. What a performance by Ben Askren. Congratulations to Brian Smith and Missouri.
In 2006, he became the first Tiger wrestler to ever win a national championship. He did it again the next year and finished his junior and senior years with back-to-back national championships and a combined perfect 87-0 record.
He's got such a unique, inquisitive wrestling mind, and any chance that I'm able to roll with him or learn from him or even speak to him, I'm always learning something, which is a trait that most people don't have as, I would consider lifetime learners. And I think that's something that he is.
He twice won the Dan Hodge Trophy, which is the Heisman equivalent for college wrestling. He finished his college career with 3 Big 12 Conference championships, and he was Mizzou's first ever 4-time All-American. He posted a 153-8 record in college. In 2008, he would become the first Missouri Tiger wrestler to qualify for the Olympics and competed in the Beijing Games. He then joined the coaching staff back at Mizzou.
He had this plan for every one of his athletes, and he could see greatness in every single one of them. And so it made you feel real special, even if you were 1 out of 50 kids.
After Columbia, he made a name for himself in mixed martial arts, posting a 19-2 record and winning both the ONE and Bellator welterweight championships before retiring in 2018. It was a fitting conclusion to arguably the most successful Tiger in Mizzou history.
Ben, congrats on your induction into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. It's an amazing when you look at the people from the past, and you're also in the club now with me, so welcome back. And what you've done for our program and what you've done for the state of Missouri and what you've done for the sport of wrestling is amazing, that you truly belong. Congrats.
Congrats, Ben. This is much deserved for you. I know you've inspired me and many others, and I can't wait to see what you do in the future, and I hope that I can be a part of it in any way.
He was a master on the mat and one of the greats from the University of Missouri. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our newest Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Ben Askren.
Right. Thanks, guys. Man, I always love these things. I love hearing the humility and gratitude from everyone being inducted. And, I kind of always think, how did I even get here? And you hear everyone's story about how they get here. And I tell this story lots of times to high school kids about the fact that you don't have to start out being the best to end up being the best. But I'm going to tell a little different twist today. And that's July 1st, my junior year of high school. was the day that all the colleges could call you, right? And I had been working really hard, and I really wanted to go wrestle in college, and then obviously the Olympics someday. My phone didn't ring once. It was freaking depressing. It was really depressing, I promise. But so my high school coach and we came up with this plan. And I love this as an older crowd because I'm always telling this to kids. And I say, we made a bunch of VHS tapes of me wrestling. They have no idea what that is. I think, it's been gone for 20 years or so. So we sent them out. Coach Smith will allege he called me when he saw the VHS. I think he waited a little longer because I finally had a breakthrough at the national level that summer. And anyways, Coach Smith called me. And, I live in Wisconsin again, where I came from, and I came down the I-70 route again, and it kind of reminds me because it was probably almost 22 years ago to the day where I came on my recruiting trip. And I remember Coach Smith was able to sell me on Missouri as a wrestling powerhouse. And it was different because Missouri really wasn't very good at that point in time. And I don't remember we had breakfast, it was right over there. It's not there anymore. I can't remember. It's changed names a few times. Anyways, he said, Ben, I know if you come here, you'll be able to achieve your own personal goals, which is national titles, and I know you're going to help Missouri become a wrestling powerhouse. And so it feels so good to be back here all these years later, and obviously by the end of my career, I'd won 2 national titles, and I'd helped Missouri become a powerhouse, and now it's been even more fun for the past 15, 17 years to watch Missouri continue to be a powerhouse because of what Coach Smith has done. So thank you guys. Appreciate it.
I know Ben's got a lot of Mizzou fans, Coach Smith and others that are here, thank you. Ben Askren, enshrined as a member October 20th, 2024, in recognition of your outstanding contributions in the sport of wrestling.
Thank you.
If you have a son or daughter who has played youth sports in Columbia, especially basketball, baseball, or softball, then you probably know our next inductee. He has been instrumental in youth sports all over the state and region, and especially right here in Columbia. Let's take a look at the Hall of Fame career of Greg Logston.
When his daughter wanted to play softball, he knew just what to do.
He dove all in and learned everything that he could about fast pitch softball to give me the opportunities and experience that I got to have.
Greg Logston's quest to help his daughter ended up helping hundreds, if not thousands more, as he formed Missouri Stealth, one of the premier fast pitch softball clubs in the Midwest.
It taught me competitiveness. It taught me what strong teamwork looks like. And I think ultimately it taught me how important it is in life to pour into those and build up those people that are around you.
But Greg Logston was not done. He would later form a club basketball team, one that eventually became the Missouri Phenom, part of the Nike Elite Youth Basketball League. There, hundreds, if not thousands more area athletes would benefit.
He was happy that he had athletic daughters that wanted to go along with it, but it turned into so much more than that. And that's just who he is. He gives and gives and gives because he wants to make everyone around him better and give them the opportunities that everyone deserves.
And I think I saw some statistics recently that of the girls in the class of 24 on these teams, 2024, 50 of them went on and played college ball, or are playing college ball right now, or have signed to play college ball. I think it's been a real opportunity for kids to get a chance to play at a competitive level that they may not have had if people like Greg hadn't come around and helped.
No stranger to the sports world, for years he coached track and field at Hickman High School. He was also an assistant coach for Bob Burchard's men's basketball team at Columbia College. And for years, he managed the basketball division at the Show Me State Games.
He understood the strengths of his daughter. He understood the strengths of the other players on the team, understood how you have to bring a team together. And I think that's very important too, that he sees the entire picture. And not just the time on the court, but about developing young women to, again, whether they go on playing college or not, been a great experience, a great leadership opportunity for these girls that Greg's afforded them.
And to think, it all started when he wanted to give his daughter a chance to play the game. He ended up giving so many more the same chance. As we sit here today, Missouri Stealth and Phenom continue into their second decade of providing opportunities for girls all over the state.
So I want to congratulate him and his kids and his lovely wife and also those programs and the kids that he's helped. I think it's a tribute to him and to sports in Missouri.
And so somebody that's willing to give of themselves selflessly for the opportunities that these girls have, we really appreciate all that Greg has done to further the sport.
My childhood was the best childhood I could have literally ever asked for, with you being my coach, and I love that me and you have also found this new connection in the adult life job world, and you are the most deserving person in the world for this, and I love you.
Dad, this is such a well-deserved recognition for someone who has impacted hundreds of lives. The world of youth athletics in Missouri would not be what it is without your generosity, time, and your energy. I love you, Dad, and I'm so proud of you.
A graduate of Highland High School, he played college ball at Culver Stockton before beginning his coaching career and eventually building two of the great club organizations in the Midwest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Missouri Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Greg Logsdon.
I'm going to try to keep it quick. Byron, thank you to the committee and the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations to all the other inductees. Pretty impressive group up here. I feel honored to be up here. I also want to thank my family. I got a lot of family and friends back here. I want to thank you guys for being here. When I got here today, I was super excited. They told us we had a 3-minute limit on our speech. So I had a nice speech written out, and then I saw the list of inductees, and I saw who was coming after me. It's Coach Foey from Palmyra. And first of all, there's no way he can keep to 3 minutes. And if you saw the Palmyra teams play that he coached, he gonna be talking a long time, because they were good. They were good. And then when he told us we had a 3-minute limit, I know what a short speech looks like because I got to watch Coach Stewart in his timeouts, and I trained under Bob Burchard when I first started coaching basketball. So I know what a really short speech looks like. It wasn't uncommon that they would take a timeout in the middle of the game, and I'm a new coach, and Bob Burchard would be maybe a little upset about how they were playing, and I got to see what a really short speech looked like. He would take a 90-second timeout, and they would sit in the huddle the entire 90 seconds and not say a word. That's a really short speech, and I'm a new coach, and I keep thinking, is he going to say something? Nope, they weren't going to say anything, but they usually ended up getting some pretty good results when the team went back out there. I only got one quick funny story to tell. Some of you in the room have heard this story. There's only a few of you. Coach Stewart and Burchard and Gerald probably know this story. So it's 1993. I'm essentially working full-time at the Show Me Games for free. For all of you that know Gary Filbert, you kind of work, he was such a great guy, you kind of worked for free for him. I was running and organizing the basketball component of the Show Me State Games, and he asked me to drive him to Poplar Bluff. So we leave in a 1991 Buick LeSabre, a university car. He was proud of it because it was free and it was donated. So Filbert loved it. We leave, and all of you that know Gary Filbert, he always took a driver with him. I think he hired me just to be his driver. So we leave to go meet with Sam Gambaluka in Poplar Bluff to talk to him about running a track and field event for us. We get no further. I had to drive, right? So we get no further than Avaz, and Filbert's just sleeping, right? 15 minutes into any trip with Gary Filbert, he's sleeping. We had a CD player. This is 1993. He had a CD player. He puts the CD in. He makes me listen to classical music. I couldn't wait for him to fall asleep so I could pop the CD out and put in like Dr. Dre or something that I'd like to listen to at age 23. We get to Warrenton, and the phone rings in the car. Now this is 1993. Their car phones had just come out. It was a bag phone, and the phone rings, and he's sleeping. He didn't even hear the damn phone, and it's got those hideous rings to it, and you couldn't talk very long because it's $9 a minute. We had a sponsorship with Ameritech, so I'm like, well, I got to pick the phone up, right? $9 a minute has got to be quick. I picked the phone up. It's the administrator back at the office and said, Greg, why are you answering? I said, Gary's sleeping. Like, what? And she said, John Q. Hammonds just called, and he wants Gary to call him as soon as possible. So I hang the bag phone back up, zip the zipper, right, plug it back in, and we get to 4061 and we turn south towards 270, and Gary wakes up, and I said, Gary, Karen just called from the office, and you need to call John Q. Hammonds. So he said, well, pull over. So it's 2-lane at the time. We swing through the stoplight into the Shell station. He's in the passenger seat. I pull up to the payphone. It takes a while because we had a calling card. So he's got to dial the calling card in. He calls John Q. Hammonds. I hear him talking. I'm trying not to listen in. He hangs the phone up, and Filbert just pumps his fist. And I'm like, yeah, like, what's going on? And he said, John Q. Hammonds just agreed to donate the land and the money to build the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame in Springfield. So that's my story. It's pretty cool. There's a few of you in here that knew it. Most of you didn't. So kind of full circle. I'm proud to be standing here today. Thank you.
What an awesome story. For all of you that don't know what a VHS tape or a bag phone, Google it. I am old enough to know those things. So lots of folks here for Greg. If you're here for Greg Logston, please stand up. I know he has lots of family friends here today. Greg Logston, enshrined as a member October 20th, 2024, in recognition of your outstanding contributions in the sports of basketball and softball. 5 Final Fours in 6 seasons, including 3 state championships. What a run of success for our next inductees, the 1981 to 1986 era of Palmyra girls basketball. Let's take a look back.
Well, hear them count it down as Palmyra is about to become the 2A state champion in Missouri.
For a large chunk of the 1980s, there was no better program than the one at Palmyra High School.
I think once we got out on the basketball court, it really came quite natural. We just knew how to handle pressure well, and we just wanted to win.
From 1981 to 1986, that's 6 seasons, there was plenty of winning. The Lady Panthers earned themselves a trip to the Final Four 5 times. They scored runner-up finishes in 1983 and 1985. They won the state championship in 1981, 1984, and again in 1986.
When it was going on, you didn't think much about it. That's just what you did. And now I look back on it, and it's just so great. It's even greater than I thought it was at the time.
You don't really realize how special it was. It's kind of an after effect after you graduate and you look back on it that you realize, oh, not all teams get to do this.
And I told everybody at the beginning of the year, if people took us too lightly, that they're going to be looking back while we're running ahead of them. And that's what happened this year.
Led by head coach Robert Foy, their 3 state championships were the most by any Class II team in the 1980s.
He's the GOAT. He is the greatest of all time here at Palmyra, as far as I'm concerned. You know, his record speaks for itself as what a good coach he was. But not that we didn't get upset with him a lot of times too, you know, and he the same back. But he knew his basketball, that's for sure.
And in a time when girls' high school sports was still in its relative infancy, the run by the Lady Panthers made them the hottest ticket in town, and the community responded en masse, game after game.
It was amazing. The Palmyra community supported us at every game that we played. I mean, every time we ran out on the court, you just saw orange jackets, orange sweatshirts. They were everywhere.
During these 6 seasons, they had 10 players earn 19 all-conference honors, and 7 times they had a player earn all-state recognition. It's all deserved from a 6-season run in the 80s where the girls from Palmyra dominated.
To my teammates, to my parents, to the fans of Palmyra, thank you for all the support at that time, and thank you for always having our backs.
I love you all. I appreciate the memories that we have shared together. And thank you, Coach Bowie, for your time and dedication to our team.
It is such an honor for us to be inducted into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations, girls. Love you guys forever.
We are honored to look back and recognize their accomplishments. Please welcome their head coach, Robert Foy, as well as the newest inductees into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, the 1981 to 1986 girls basketball era from Palmyra High School.
We have several representatives from these teams with us. You can recognize the crowd or acknowledge the crowd as I call your name. The late Jackie Thornburg Boulware, represented by Danielle Walters and Danny Boulware. Babby Buckwalter, Kim Bruss Bunton, Alice Dames, Karen Foy Dames, Robert Foy, TJ Went Gallinger, Kathy Hagenbaumer, Shelley Hightower Hansen, Helen Schwartz Huber, Stacy Myers Jetty, Missy Keller Kaiser, Judy Foster Martin, Marla Million Myers, Betty Mundy, Dina Parsons, Sheila Groutman Phillips, Robin Rager, Annette Claggett Rager, Julie Johnson Scott, Gloria Schwartz, Melody Singleton, Michelle Singleton, Carrie Hare Sherman, Stacy Went Wechter, Jamie Thorington Wood, Tina Vanata. And Coach Foy will now deliver the acceptance.
I was going to apologize for all these names up here taking all this time, but I'm not going to. Because as soon as this is over, we've got practice. So I won't, I'm running the bleachers? Okay. I'm not going to take a lot of time. I want to thank the Hall for inducting us, these ladies, and they were ladies the entire time until they got on the court, and then it was over. But I want to thank my family. I want to thank my community for coming and showing up. It's not any different than it was during the basketball season because they showed up there too. What we're most proud of is filling the stands. People would come to the games about halfway through the girls' game to get a good seat for the boys. That changed real quick. They had to come before the girls' game started to get a good seat for the boys because there wasn't any seats. I'm serious. We started off in a small gym, wound up building a larger gym for us. The only regret I have is we didn't get to play in that new gym very long because it was at the end of my career. And if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't have stopped coaching and go into administration. I thought administration would be my way to help the kids a little bit more. I was wrong. Administration is the pits. They ask you to do things and then they turn around and do what they want to do anyway. I got tired of it, but no, these girls, the one thing I can say is they worked hard. And they expected to work hard. I got a story to tell you. After practice, my captain come to me and wanted to talk. And I'm thinking, with girls, there's something going on in the locker room or classroom or after school, whatever. And she said that the girls didn't think I cared for this team as much as I did the year before. And I'm thinking, all right, I hadn't done anything that I could think of. And I asked her, I said, why would they think that? And she said, well, we had this suicide drill that we ran at the end of practice every day. And I'm serious. If I was playing basketball and my coach forgot that drill, I would be tickled and thankful that he forgot it. Well, the girls were upset because they didn't think I cared as much for them as I did the years before, because I wasn't doing that drill. And I said, okay, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow shows up. The drill shows up. They all lit up. And I'm thinking, they're nuts. And it all worked out, and away we went. So they worked hard. They really did. And they expected to work hard. I know a lot of things, you go into the locker room after a game that you win, or you go into the locker room after a game that you lose. Well, sometimes I didn't even go in the locker room. And they knew what was going to happen the next day. And I didn't have to say a word to them. But they worked hard. They really did. I want to thank everybody.
I know we have most of Palmyra here today, I believe. If you're here representing them, please stand. Thank you for coming out today. Yes. Palmyra High School, 1981 to 1986 girls basketball era, enshrined as members October 20th, 2024, in recognition of their outstanding contributions in the sport of basketball.
I got one more thing to say. I want to recognize my athletic director, Tony Lenzini. He made my job very, very easy. Didn't matter what I needed, didn't matter what I wanted. I just went to him, and he took care of it. Thank you, Tony.
And practice starts tomorrow at 6 o'clock, so. As they're exiting the stage, I would remind everybody that we're going to close the silent auction here momentarily in a little bit. Get your final bids in on all the great memorabilia that's available back there. Remind you, when we do close it, we will be checking everybody out at the end, so please keep that in mind. Before he became a household name as a longtime ESPN SportsCenter anchor, he spent 25 years at the Worldwide Leader. Our next inductee launched his career right here in Columbia as a product of the world-renowned University of Missouri School of Journalism. Let's take a look at the Hall of Fame career of John Anderson.
Greetings, glad to have you here for SportsCenter. Paired with Steve Levy, I am John Anderson.
The best co-anchor I ever had in my years of SportsCenter at ESPN. A journalistic giant, if you will, in our industry.
But long before he was a household name on ESPN, John Anderson was a student at the University of Missouri. A 1987 graduate, he cut his journalistic teeth right down the road at KOMU-TV.
And he never was shy about working, you know, whether it was picking up the camera and going out and doing the physical work, you know, just to start the whole process of a story, let alone coming back and then doing the editing and the writing and the reporting. So he's really a special talent.
He would make his way across the map, working jobs at 2 stations in Tulsa and then in Phoenix, where he was honored by both the Oklahoma Society of Professional Journalists and the Associated Press of Arizona.
He had it all. He had whip smart, a little irreverent, which I liked, really funny, and a great writer. And he remains probably the best writer I've ever worked with.
In 1999, Anderson hit the national stage, hired by ESPN. He would anchor the signature show, SportsCenter, for more than 2 decades, both in studio and on location, reporting and broadcasting the company's signature events. One of ESPN's longest tenured anchors, he hosted SportsCenter exactly 4,321 times and would earn 4 Emmy Awards for his work.
You're like a combination of like 3 yards in a cloud of dust with your stickler for obviously doing things the right way, giving a good effort, getting the final score correct, and all those really important things, but also you're like an old AFL flea flicker football team with your obviously flair for writing, your vocabulary, your style, how you wrote with heart and soul. That was really matchless in my mind in the history of SportsCenter.
He's great at a lot of things. He's super smart, really clever, an all-around hell of a good guy. But he's not a great dresser. And that's just one of those things. You're not going to be great at everything. You're not going to be Hall of Fame worthy for every little thing. He's not great at geography, for example. You pull out the map, like he's not so good on what's over here and over here. He's really good on what's going on in the middle of the country where all of you are today, and that's definitely where he belongs.
Maybe not great at geography, but he did find his way back to Mizzou. Starting in January, Anderson will join the faculty at the Missouri School of Journalism. And really, who better to learn from?
He just loves Missouri and been a really great ambassador for the school and frankly, sports in the state of Missouri.
Couldn't be happier for you. I wish I was there on this special night, but know that my heart is and my mind is, and I just wish you all the best. Congratulations, my brother.
It was a pleasure every night to work with you until 3 a.m. Some nights I despised you and despised sports because of it. You know that feeling. You don't have it anymore. But really, congratulations. What a great honor and a great state. And one more time again, to describe you, it's truly world class.
And I'll just say, once again, Big Dog, or John, congratulations on your induction in the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. A Hall of Famer in every sense. That's you, pal. So proud of you. Continue to do great things, and you're the best.
A native of Wisconsin, he came to Mizzou as a walk-on to the track and field program. And for 22 years, he sponsored a Mizzou student internship at ESPN. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Missouri Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. John Anderson.
Okay, so I looked at my watch, and we got like 20 minutes left. So, Chase, you and I can each go about 10, and we'll still get out of here by 4 o'clock. I want to correct Levy. I am great at geography, and if you ask Steve Levy where Missouri is, he'd point to Iowa. Originally, I thought I was going to have to get all this done in like the length of a boxing round, but I think now I can go longer. Plus, I made a lot of notes from everybody else. Like Amy, my coach would have sent me home on a Greyhound bus if he'd have caught me in a liquor store, right? Steve, you can vouch for that. Ernie Poole's back there, right? He always told us one-way ticket. We can get all the way back there. Plus, the Packer game is over, so my mom was going to be like, "Rush, quick, we got to see how the Packers did." But now that that game's over, I can talk as long as I want and not disturb her. I want to thank everybody who was on the selection and election committee from the Hall of Fame for paying their cable bill and thinking to put me in the hall. Obviously, they either paid cable or they went to bars a lot, and ESPN was just on there, but there was no words, and so they thought, well, he's probably a safe choice. I also want to thank the people at the hall for sticking with Chase Daniel, because after yesterday, I pretty much thought you were going to be replaced by Brady Cook today. So I'm really glad you're still here. Thought maybe you'd be on your way back to San Diego. Seriously though, Chase to you, because this is big to me. I sat through a lot of really horrible football games in 4 years here at Missouri. And what I got to sit in, the throw field I got to sit in yesterday, and the one we're going to sit in 5 years from now, is because of you and Brad Smith and J Mac and Spoon and Coach Pinkel. I want to congratulate all my fellow inductees, especially Ben Askren. I thought I would be the most prominent person born in Wisconsin here. That's not the case. Still feel like I might be the toughest. Maybe not. To Steve, he touched on our coach. I don't know what else is. You were a remarkable career as a Tiger runner. I want to point out you saw the video of him and the 1979 conference championship, which Ernie, stand up, we should point out Ernie Poole, who was on that team as well. That was the last Missouri track and field conference champ in 1979. So those guys are really special. And like both of them, Coach Teal had a huge impact on my life during my 4.5 years and 2 summers here at the University of Missouri. And like you, I went to the Missouri School of Journalism. I went to see the dean. This was a good way, not like in college when I had to go see the dean, and that was not such a good way. And lo and behold, his secretary, his administrative assistant, handed me an envelope, and it was the same thing. I recognized the writing right away, and it was our 101-year-old coach, Coach Teal, who had sent me a letter congratulating me on getting a job here at the university. So that was amazing. Coach Teal, who was this special man, if he was here right now, he'd tell everybody, just be loose as a goose and twice as shifty, whatever that means. But he allowed me to walk onto his track team because I did not have the ability to be on a Big 8 track team. And yet he found a spot for me, and for 4 years he kept giving me a uniform, and I am forever grateful to Coach Teal. But I would not have had to call him and ask to run here if it had not been for the University of Missouri's journalism school. I came for the grammar, and I eventually stayed for the journalism creed of Walter Williams, which everybody should read sometime. I am indebted to the J School for both the education I received down on the quad and now for them having me back. Instructors like Stacy Wolfel, Mark Pardee, a woman named Karen List, and a really special fella, Professor Don Ranley, who is at my table as well. Those guys all gave me the foundation that I needed when I left school, but they also gave me the tools I needed to improve over the next 35 years and eventually be back here in front of you all. I also benefited from really great friends and classmates at the J School and at KOMU. You saw Hall of Famer Chris Gervino, who was in the video. You know, he lives in town and he thinks so much of me. There's an empty seat at my table. Should be, and hopefully soon to be, Hall of Famer Dave Hunsaker from Cahokia-Mo is here. Hunzy came today after an amazing race-like journey from the BYU game with Oklahoma State on Friday night to get here, and got here this morning. Dave, thanks so much. Like I said, sooner or later you're going to be here in front of this place. Brian Nooner was a classmate of mine. Craig Can from the Golf Channel. Jerry Jacobs, for anybody who watched TV in Springfield over 20 years, was a classmate of mine. It was a wonderful group of teammates, and I was really fortunate to work with all those guys, both to push me and to make me better. Finally, I want to thank my family. At my table is my Uncle Norm, who took me to my first college football game, Wisconsin, Iowa, and I'm ever indebted to you for that. And my cousin Lisa, who made sure Uncle Norm got here today. My wife Tamara, who for 25 years had to put up with neighbors saying, "Did you know your husband just came home at 3 a.m. in the morning?" That's really hard. She had to work around every holiday, had to work. She's also helped raise our 2 wonderful kids who didn't think enough to be here today for their dad. But they were busy. And then finally, there's my mother, who realized that perhaps sending me to the University of Missouri Journalism School was better than the Northeast Wisconsin Technical College. So I thank you for sending me here to become a true son of Missouri. I'm not sure any of us saw that coming in the fall of 1983. But I'm glad that you did. I'm glad that you are here now. I am glad that I am here as well. And I only wish our dad and my dad Kenny could be here to share it with me. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
No, he mentioned his table that is here. If there's any other Mizzou fans, obviously, please stand at this time and be recognized. Thank you for being here. John Anderson, enshrined as a member October 20th, 2024, in recognition of your outstanding contributions in the field of sports broadcasting. All right, before we get to the last inductee, this is the time you've been waiting for in terms of the silent auction. We're going to close that in 5 seconds, so hit that final bid. Silent auction is closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Silent auction is closed. Remind everybody if you won something, you can check out afterwards. Our final inductee of the day needs no introduction here in Columbia. He helped vault the Mizzou Tigers to a #1 ranking and remains one of the most beloved figures in Mizzou sports history. Let's take a look at the video for Chase Daniel.
So here comes young Mr. Chase Daniel.
Those who saw it happening live knew they were watching something special.
And, he wasn't a Heisman finalist for nothing, you know what I mean? So that's credit to him. But that was a special time, and he was the guy that was kind of steering the ship.
Chase Daniel came to the University of Missouri after a stellar career at South Lake Carroll High School in Texas, where he led the Dragons to 3 state championships.
He's one of those people that when I coached him, he had an attitude. I've never arrived. I've never arrived. I can keep pushing the envelope. I think he was the best dual threat quarterback in the state of Texas, maybe in the entire country. From a production standpoint, big time player.
Fakes the inside handoff, keeps it across midfield to the 45, to the 40.
At Mizzou, he became the full-time starter as a sophomore and would lead the Tigers to 30 wins in the following 3 seasons, including the magical year of 2007, when Mizzou finished 12-2, earned a #1 national ranking, won the Cotton Bowl, and saw Daniel named an All-American. He was also the Big 12 Conference Player of the Year and finished 4th in Heisman voting.
Not only did he lead us, but it was each and every day at practice, each and every day inside that building. His mindset. Just everything that he brought to the table just helped us, myself, Martin, Chase, Denario, Will, it just helped us take our game to another level.
He came in and really was, he's just an everyday guy. He wants to play football, he wants to practice, wants to watch videos, just even in his off season, he's going to do something to make himself a better player. And leading by example is probably the best you could ever get with a guy like him.
Among the numerous school records that he holds, it's passing yards with more than 12,000. More than 13,000 total yards, and 101 passing touchdowns. In fact, in the Mizzou record book, he is at or near the top in more than 40 different game, season, and career record categories.
I get chills thinking about it, because that's just, you understand a guy like that he brings people the right thinking around in your program for all the different things. So that's just the way he is. That's the way he made him. And so he did a remarkable job in that way, and had just huge influence on a lot of people.
Despite going undrafted, Daniel enjoyed a 14-year NFL career, winning a Super Bowl with the Saints in 2009. He is very much still around the game, hosting a popular podcast called Scoop City, and has served as an analyst on both the NFL Network and Fox Sports. It's quite the career for one of the legends of Mizzou football.
I'm so proud of you. You are as deserving as anybody ever was. I always tell people that if you ever ran for governor in the state of Missouri, you'd probably win.
From a fellow Missouri Sports Hall of Famer, the times that we shared at the University of Missouri, man, was special. Congratulations, well deserved, and I'm looking forward to this next chapter of your life for sure.
And I want you to know that this honor will be with you for the rest of your life, and it's so deserving of you I know you're going to thank all your teammates before you do anything else, but at the end of the day, I'm so very, very proud of you.
The days he played highlighted one of the most successful stretches in the University of Missouri football program. We are honored to recognize him as one of the great Tigers of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Missouri Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Chase Daniel.
Oh, sit down, John. Sit down. Appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with us. John, I'm trying to go down your path now in broadcasting. We were talking before. I'm going to need you to keep your phone open. Okay, good. Just thanks to the Hall of Fame, all the other inductees, man, this has been quite the honor, quite the weekend. We came here, we brought 3 kids under 7 halfway across the country, changed flights, went to games, did all this stuff, and they're sitting over there right now. So, hi guys, hi. It's just cool, and the best part about it is to see, those people, my high school head coach, Todd Dodge, Coach Pinkel, who's here today, and Jeremy Macklin, and that's exactly what I want to make it today about is those people that helped me, because if you saw in the video, there was a lot of people wide open and easy to throw, thanks to Coach Pinkel and Coach Yost and Coach Christensen. So without them, I'd be nowhere, and I want to tell a story I think a lot of people have heard, but with Coach Pinkel, thanks for putting up with me, man. I was quite stubborn as a freshman, and I don't think you knew what you were getting when I was in your office every day saying, "Can I have a backwards hat? Can I do this? Can I do that?" You're like, "Chase, just shut up and go play." Just complete pestering. But one of my favorite stories is I came to Mizzou in 2005. Brad Smith, obviously, the face of the program, and when I got here, I was expecting to be, 3rd, 4th string behind Chase Patton, who's here today, who got honored for the Elite 11 or whatever, and behind Brandon Coleman. And I'll always remember a conversation I had with Todd Dodge, who's my high school head football coach. He said, "Hey, what's your plan?" I was like, "Oh, what do you mean?" He's like, "What's your plan when you go to Mizzou?" Because I was, we were coming in for summer conditioning. I said, "Oh, they got Chase Patton. He's like the number 5 recruit in the nation. They got Brandon Coleman, who was the backup last year. Like, I'm just going to go and just, coast and relax." And he said, "What? You're going to do what?" And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "You should try and take Brad Smith's job." And I said, "Well, that's impossible." Like, it's Brad Smith. He's like, "No, you need to compete, like, if anything, for the backup job." So that really, trained my head when I first came in here, and had a good first training camp, was getting like 3rd, 4th string snaps. And I'll always remember Coach called me into his office, and this was before NIL, this was before you could play 3 or 4 games without burning your red shirt. And he said, first of all, when you got called into Coach's office back in 2005, it was never a good thing, just so you know. And I got calls like, "Oh man, what did I do? Did I sneak out of the dorms, or did I sneak out of something? Like, what happened?" And he said, "We want to play you this year." I go, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, we want to play you two series a game." And I was like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, he said, "Call your parents. We want to burn your red shirt." And it was just such a cool thing to have your belief in me for that. And I'll always remember the Iowa State game, right? Like, that was Sean Coffey, I don't think he's here today, but he caught my first touchdown, so that was cool. Wish he was here. But it's just all those stories like this. I mean, I could tell thousands of them. I mean, like, it's really not about me. It was about our football team, like Jimmy Jackson, Will Franklin, Jared Perry, Tommy Saunders, Denari Alexander, Jeremy freaking Macklin. Like, these guys were getting open. They trusted me to sort of lead the way and to try and build their confidence up. And I already talked about Brandon Coleman and Chase Patton, but like Tony Temple, Chase Kaufman, Martin Rucker, specifically those big O linemen, right? Colin Brown, Tim Barnes, Tyler Llewellyn, Curtis Gregory, and Big Shug. I mean, the favorite thing I had during the week was, I think it was on Wednesdays and Thursdays, we would go down to G&D Pizzeria, and we would have, I don't know what they were doing, but we ate for free. We got away with it. We didn't pay a dime at all. And it was just about the bonding. And then, the more we did it, the bigger it grew. So it was just offensive linemen, quarterbacks, and then receivers started showing up. Then DBs started showing up. And it just showed, like, the bonding camaraderie that we had. But, the coolest thing, too, is just, Coach Yost, who's my quarterback coach, Dave Steckel, he recruited me. And I remember Coach Steck, when he was recruiting me, he said, you're going to come to the University of Missouri and you're going to be a star. And I said, well, I don't know. Sure enough, Coach Pinkel and Steck come into my house and say, hey, we want to make you an offer to become a University of Missouri Tiger. It was the very first scholarship offer that I had gotten, and after that, teams had gotten word that Missouri had offered, so 20 other offers came in the next week. So my dad likes to say, hey, they started the Chase Daniel sweepstakes. But in my mind, I knew that Mizzou was the place to be, and everyone knows the story about Texas coming in on signing day, trying to talk to Todd Dodge, my high school head coach. But in my mind, it was always Mizzou, and so just super thankful to be inducted today. And more importantly, it's all about these teammates. Thank you guys so much.
Chase's family's over here. Lots of Mizzou Tiger fans. If you're here for Chase, please stand. Chase Daniel, enshrined as a member October 20th, 2024, in recognition of your outstanding contributions in the sport of football. What a great class of inductees that have been enshrined today into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. Please recognize the inductees, the teams and eras, our Elite 11 honorees, and our President's Award recipient one more time. Allow me to thank each of you for being our guests this afternoon, and a very special thank you once again to Shelter Insurance for being our presenting sponsor. Thank you for your support. We hope you've enjoyed being here in Columbia, and we look forward to returning next year on October 19th. So mark your calendars for next year's Columbia Enshrinement. Please be sure to stop by the gift shop, pick up some items. If you want a silent auction item, you can check out as well. Thank you so much for coming. Please drive safely on your way home.